Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. How are we doing? It is good to see ya. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you are doing well. We've made it to the midpoint. You're halfway there in the week, chat. How's everybody doing? Apologies for not streaming yesterday. I do apologize. I did have to take my mom somewhere, and then I got back. It was a little bit too late. To be fair, it did kind of work out because we had some videos to get out. But yeah, I wanted to get those out. I do want to touch on some stuff in regards to Ananta as well today. There's a couple of little things I want to check out as well. And then we're going to start diving into some Intermezzi, some side event content. We're going to start off with Code of Brawl. I did start it before. I think we'll just start from the get-go, right? We'll just start from the get-go because I kind of like, we started playing it and then we haven't played it since. So we'll just start from the very start, go through it. Like, we probably read, like, I don't know, about 5 minutes of it. So it's not a big deal. So we're going to start that. We're prepping ourselves for chapter 9. So what I'm probably going to do as well, at some point, we'll set up a poll on Discord or something like that. Because we want to prioritize the side stuff, right? Because I do want to go through the story, right? I want to go through the main story. And we're going to do everything, but I want to prioritize stuff that's a bit more poignant, right, to the story. You know, that's hard-hitting, a little bit more relative to what's going on in the game, but also stuff that's obviously rewarding in regards to what we get out of it, you know, whether it's like Gladiator or Crucial, you know what I mean? Those sort of things. And then we'll have to list them. And we'll try and do them in, like, order, you know, so, like, we're doing this because this is really a big part of the story, and then we move on to this because this is going to give us a really good reward, and then, you know what I mean? And then we'll intersperse that out through the content, but chapter 9 will be beginning soon as well. And now we've completed chapter 8, I'm going to watch the anime. I'm going to watch the anime all the way through, right? Because it ends at the end of chapter 8, right? So I'm gonna go through the anime. And then I think we're going to make the video on my viewpoints of Arknights, right? Not off like me reacting to somebody else as a new player or somebody else's viewpoints and me just adding mine in. We'll make my video. We'll talk about my experience, what I like about the game, what maybe I don't like about the game, what I think could improve. Obviously, the game's nearly 6 years old, so there's going to be stuff in there that's just not going to change. Yeah, I'm looking forward to making that video, actually. So it'll be good to go through the anime again, just to refresh myself. And I kind of want to bring the anime into the conversation as well. I think that'll be fun to do. So I'm looking forward to that, actually. So yeah, I do want to play Limbus as well, chat. So I think next, see, like, how long? See, the thing is, with the Arknights collab with Limbus, right? As a new player, am I going to be able to interact with that in any way? Right? How can I don't know how the story sets up. I don't know if it's a situation where, yeah, you need to get through a certain section of the story to be able to experience it or something like that. Or am I able to get the gacha side of things and then get to the story later? I don't know. You guys are going to have to let me know. Because we're going to play some Limbus Company, and I'm thinking we'll start it. I'm thinking next week is the plan. That was the plan anyway, or this weekend. So the way we're gonna do the Limbus stuff is I think we'll do evening streams, right? And then we'll throw some Limbus in there for the evening streams and maybe a weekend day stream as well. So like the people who are, because I know for a lot of you guys who watch me in the day, it's evening for you guys now. So the evening streams are just too late for you, especially in the weekdays, right? Because you'll probably be getting up to work and college and whatever you've got going on a few hours after. So I want to get a daytime weekend one, so the people who want to come and hang out and watch it live can come and do so. And maybe if people like it enough, maybe we'll switch out one of the Arknights streams for it. You know what I mean? We'll see how that goes. But obviously, I'm loving Arknights at the minute, and I want to get through as much content. I really don't want to sacrifice a good daytime stream for it, unless it's, you know, hey, I might play the game and be like, holy shit, I'm hooked. So we'll have to see. But either this weekend or next week, I think, is the plan, because what we're on now, we're on Wednesday, right? So it's probably not going to be this week now, because if you do double dip this week, it's for extra Arknight stuff, right? And maybe some Destiny. And then, yeah, I think we start a bit of Limbus next week. If you guys are interested in that anyway, you'll have to let me know. I know quite a few people have been asking me, dude, you need to play Limbus. And I really do want to check it out now. And I think it's the best time to, right? As somebody who's really liking Arknights, why not start playing the game when it's got an Arknights crossover, right? It makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense. So, yeah, I think we do that. I think we do that. All right, let me see what chat's saying, guys. Let me get you lot up and see what you're saying. Yo, Cactus Chips, welcome to the stream. How's it going? This event is such a rage bait during it. Why? Why? Is it difficult, is it? Or what? Ends Fior. I know, typo. I didn't notice until you actually said that, actually. The keyboard had an accent. Nah, it's just me having dumb fingers. I can't even say I've got fat fingers, because I actually haven't. I've got quite slender hands, so I can't even use the excuse of fat fingers. I'm just stupid, I think. Casual. Collab, welcome to the stream. Ducklord, welcome. iPerson, welcome to the stream. Jamie, how's it going, buddy? Jerry, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Mr. Comment, welcome to the stream. Fasu, Leo, Frankie, it's good to see you. Yo, Ringo, what's going on, buddy? Welcome. Ling Louis coming. Yes, you can. They set it in on 0 on 4 for newbies. Basically, at the tutorial stages. Right, okay. Oh, that's good then. So, how long's this collab lasting for then? Excuse me, I got the sniffles today. I don't know if it's allergies or I've got a bit of a cold. I'm not too sure. Star, welcome to the stream. I skipped the gym today as well. I decided I was having a rest day today. I've been suffering a bit of a pulled neck muscle in my neck, and I've just been pushing myself hard. Because I like to train my traps and my shoulders quite heavy. And I train my traps quite a lot. And I think my body's just saying, bro, just chill out a bit, right? And I haven't been listening to it for a few weeks now. Every time I do, like, my trap exercises, I come out from the gym being like, oh my god, bro, my neck is shredded. So I thought I'd give it a rest today. Maybe go a bit lighter on the traps and those sort of exercises. Yo, Skybird, what's going on, dude? Welcome to the stream. You can play the collab event after completing 0-4 of the prologue stages, but the stories after Canto 8 and then the main story. Right. So, regarding the story, that'll be there forever, right? Will that be there forever? Or is that like most other games where it's like, if I don't play it while it's on, it's gone? Like, what's the deal with that? Is that going to be there forever? Renegade, what's up, dude? I just turned in the stream and the first thing I heard was I am stupid. I 100% agree. It lasts a month. Okay. The collab should be around a month. Right, okay. A little under a month. Okay. I played a mod for Doom where you fight against Margaret Thatcher. Really? I need to see that. You'll have to share a video or something of that on YouTube, bro. That sounds jokes. Nope, it's gone for the collab. Oh. So, damn. I'll just have to watch it on YouTube then, yeah. I'll just have to watch it on YouTube. So, like, the story for the collab, is it separate from the main story then? So, can I play it right off the bat, or do I need a build account to play? That's the question. Because I don't think this is a game where I can just speed run into a bit of content that's not built for new players, can I? Or not? Usually, the story from what I heard stays, but not for these collab. Yeah, I should imagine, like, licensing stuff comes into effect with stuff, doesn't it? Like, I don't exactly know how... It depends on the contracts that are going on and stuff, right? I don't know, but it could be that. Easy, welcome to the stream. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. If you haven't already done so, drop a like on the stream. It's very much appreciated. It helps out a lot as well. Especially considering we worked yesterday for nothing. Bloody... Man, if anybody ever speaks to anybody at Ananta, right, can you say to him, can you stop using copyright music in your trailers, please? Both trailers now I've got hit with, like, I knew it was copyright and I listened to it anyway, right? Because I wanted to watch it and I wanted to put it out there. It's like, bruh, you know? It's like, can you not do that? can you do something else? Appreciate it. But yeah. So what we thinking then, chat? What we thinking about Ananta? We're going to talk a little bit about Ananta in a second, actually, because apparently people are mad at Ananta. Now, I don't know how true this is, or is it just a bit of a... It's just a bit of conjecture or what? I'm not too sure, but apparently people are mad at Ananta. Yeah, I want to have a little talk about it as well. Because everything is a double-edged sword in life, right? I think we'll discuss that in a second as well. So I'm kind of curious to see what you guys have got to say as well about all of that. Let me just get this music turned down a little bit. It seems really loud to me. I don't know if it's loud to you guys. The story will probably be separate, but the characters will be post-development, so it'll be a little strange. Right, okay. You probably could read the story. We still don't know if it's canon or not, but I think you misunderstood me. The event story unlocks at 04, so you can play it, but it's after Canto 8 on the timeline. No, I think I got you, yeah. I can get access to it, but I get what I'm saying, right? I get what I'm saying. It's going to be it's going to be a bit disjointed for me because obviously, like I say, if I could just watch the story out, if I can get the content, like in terms of, what is it, the IDs or whatever. I don't even know how the system works in Limbus, right? But if I can get the stuff out of the gacha potentially, if I can, I don't know. And then I could just watch the content once I'm caught up to date. Because if it affects the story, maybe we won't do it until I need to. Because obviously, I think that game's heavily reliant on the story itself, isn't it? It's right. Nice one, have a look. It's definitely an experience I want to play it. Doom and Margaret Thatcher is not exactly two things I would thought I would hear going together, but you know what? I like it. I like it. I like it. All right, let's get started then, shall we, chat? Let's get right into it, man. Today, let's get right into it, chat. Let's get right into it. Got the sniffles, man. Have I got the sniffles? What's the matter with me? I'm lurgified, chat. This is their boss is actually Margaret Thatcher. I'll probably make it more digestible on the newbies and stuff, especially they know new players are coming in and it's probably... Well, yeah, I was going to say, because, like, although Limbus has insane numbers on Steam, doesn't he? On updates. Like the last update, wasn't there like 250,000 people playing on Steam? Well, I think it's safe to say Arknights is a much bigger IP, isn't it? So I'm assuming, especially, well, just in general, it's a good... I would assume there's going to be a lot of people coming over to try it now. I know there is quite a bit of a crossover with Arknights and Limbus. Like a lot of the community has played both. But yeah, I think there'll probably be a lot of new players coming in. So you would expect them to maybe have that in mind, maybe, right? I don't know. Yo, what's going on, Crystal? I might do something if we can get it in later, if I'm honest. Neo, what's going on, dude? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, the last Wahlburgers had like 200k play count. Yeah, insane. Like, in terms of like a gacha game, that's the biggest numbers on Steam, right? Because, like, even, Umamusume hit, like, what? Around 100k, something like that. Well, anyway, he's top taped at, like, 30 to 40k, didn't he? I think it was 30k. I think, Persona 5 Phantom X top taped at about 45k or something like that. So, it's pretty freaking huge. Pretty huge, man. Pretty freaking huge. Alright, so, a couple of things I want to look at today. Guys, I want to check out this video. The key mechanics Arknights does not explain how to abuse them. I want to watch this one because specifically, you guys, when we were doing Tallulah, showed me how you can attempt to trap enemies partially across 2 tiles, right? And use that to your advantage in terms of, like, obviously a crossover of range, right? And maybe give yourself an opportunity to still tick a target. Well, technically maybe being out of range for one of your units, right? Or maybe even both, I guess, in a sense, really. So, yeah, I kind of want to watch that. It's a video that I've been meaning to watch for a while, actually, but just haven't got round to it. So I'm curious about that. So we're going to watch that. It's from Dr. Silvergun. So we'll be watching some classic Arknights content there, because that's an older video, right? I think it's like a year old or something. My bad, it was like 100k, not 200k plus. There was one of the updates where I'm sure, like, it was like 200 and something k, right? I'm sure he did get up to something like that. Oh, maybe I'm talking shit then. Oh, yeah, just say 114. Why did I think he got up to 200k then? I could have swore he did. All right, I'm talking shit as well. No, you're right, dude. You're right. 115. Well, according to the one, Steam DB says 115,865, so 114, 115k. All right, fuck. What am I'm talking shit then? I swear to God, I saw that number as well. Right? I swear to God, I saw that number. Tripping. We could probably try it out first and tell you, to be honest, it's in 2 days anyway. I'm also starting currently on Canto 2 at the moment. Oh, you new as well, are you, Leo, then? Is that really that crazy? What's that, sorry, Yazd? Sounds like a useful vid from a really good Arknighter. His video ranking, all the 4 stars is also really good. He does it from a new player perspective. Yeah, right. Dude, honestly, I really remember seeing that number. Like, that's actually kind of trippy. Like, I have a terrible memory often, and there's plenty of times where I'm like, yeah, that's just me, right? I swear to God, that was, I shouldn't swear to God. I'm sure that was the, what's it anyway? So it seems more and more games are dropping the gacha in their games. I'm loving that. Yeah. Do we ever know that, like, Ananta was always going to be a gacha? Or do you think that was, like, a choice? Like, because we're going to talk about that in a bit as well, because I think it's kind of smart as well, right? In the sense that, like, I mean, with all these high-quality AAA gacha games that are coming, I think you need to start doing something different, right? This is why I said I feel like I'm so worried about the next 2 years of gacha games, where it went from hope to a little bit of despair, because I was excited for all the AAA push. Now I'm worried that they're all going to be very samey in the combat, which I don't want. You know, and I think Ananta's really been smart about what they've done. I think they potentially did have a rotation-based combat system before I do, and they dropped it. You know what I mean? I do. I think they dropped it. And I think it was a smart choice. I think that was a smart choice. But just interesting to see how they do things as well. Swear to me! Yes, I'm new. I have the same mentality as you. Now is the best time to try it out. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, right. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's a CC's propaganda, to be honest. Dep sir, bro. Dep sir. Ristepa. Give me some Ristepa. Alright, let's get started then, shall we? Let's get started. I wonder if more studios will do that. Well, I think they will, but it's all going to be about whether it's successful, right? I think there's going to be a lot of companies watching and waiting with like incredible interest to see how DNA and Ananta does, right? Now I think Ananta will be probably potentially the best test case. Well, it's so nuanced, so right. It's so nuanced. Which again, we'll talk about this in a second. Remind me of that, because this is something I want to talk about regarding talking about Ananta in general. Because I do think it's a nuanced thing, because obviously it's all about companies looking and if it's successful. There's like layers to it as well, isn't it? It isn't just if it's successful. You gotta look at the game design as well, and whether they can implement those things with the way their game's designed and such, right? You know, because you remove gacha, game's got to be overhauled in the way it's designed. It just has, or it's just going to be a poor game, right? Because you're still going to have all those lingering systems that are there for a reason. There's no reason for them to be there anymore, and they'll be a detriment to the game experience, won't they? Rather than be like a benefit, if you will, because they're there for like a game progression and all that sort of stuff. I love Weaver's combat and combat style. It's a shame there's not much of it in the events these days. Yeah, like, that's like I say, part of my worry about the future of gacha game. I don't want every game to just try and do what Genshin and Wuthering Waves did, right? You know, like, they're good at what they do. I don't want everybody else being like, all right, I want to do that. I want to do that. That's a good idea, actually. And then, you know, there's just 5 variations of the same combat system, because then, like, it's like, well, I might as well just play one of them then, Ananta, really, you know, rather than... Like, that's what I like in gacha games. That's why I quite like playing quite different gacha games. So I've been enjoying Destiny Rising. The gacha game, it's not like... It's nothing like Arknights. It's the same way it's nothing like Wuthering Waves. You know, and then playing something like Star Rail or something like that, or Sword of Convalari or Reverse 1999. They're just... the only thing that connects them together is the gacha itself, isn't it? Minmano, welcome to the stream. Yes, we're going to talk about that in a second, actually. We're going to talk about that. Welcome to the stream as well. Well, do you think Enfield might adopt the no gacha change? No, I don't think it will. It's too late now, and I think the systems. Well, I don't know. I suppose with the base building system, that would alleviate the potential of change, but I think the systems are already kind of baked into the game. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. I sound like such a dickhead here, right? I kind of don't want it not to be a gacha game. I know. I'm like, I've played all types of games, right? At the minute, I kind of enjoy gacha. Now, it's predatory, and it definitely negatively affects games in some way. But I'll admit it, man. I'm a monkey that gets some excitement out of the gacha itself. Right? Like, look, they took loot boxes out of Call of Duty. Kind of miss it. I hate the weapon blueprints. I think they're boring. They suck. I hate them having to be specific ways. Kind of like the idea. Right? Don't get me wrong. When it comes to spending, it sucks. And when it comes to missing out, it sucks. And when it comes to the way the games are built to a degree, it's all, you know, some games can do it really badly. But there's also you know, that monkey part of me is like, you know, when you're pulling for a banner, I kind of, gotta be honest, I kind of get something out of it. But it's all psychological, right? And I understand it. Move the 50-50, I mean, not pity. I suppose, yeah, again, there's part of me that's like, yeah. I guess we'll just have to see, won't we? It's all about how good Duet Night Abyss does it and Ananta does it, and that'll be like the blueprint, won't it, of where we go from here. You know? To be fair, they probably have psychology spotting on how to elicit that very response from you. Exactly, right, exactly. I'm cognizant of that. I'm totally cognizant of the fact that I've been played like a fiddle, right? And probably to my detriment, really. You know what I mean? Or it's kind of like the thing of like drinking alcohol. I know when I have a beer or 5, it's not really great for me, but I'm like, hey, it was fun. Wake up the next day going, oh, regrets, right? Like after you might spend 50 quid on a gacha game, like, fuck, afterwards. But while you're doing it, it's like, oh, I'm having fun, man. You know? And I'm totally cognizant of that. And I totally understand why some people go, I don't want that, right? And I don't want it in everything. I don't. That's why I play non-gacha games as well, right? I think there's a reason why I've been dabbling in it. And I suppose I'm new to the space as well, right? So I guess I'm not as burnt out as some people might be. If you've been in the gacha space since the 2015s or even earlier, the whole space might just be getting to you a bit more, right? Or you're forced to play gacha games specifically because your device that you play, and they're the only ones really offering something with a real high quality feel for maybe mobile and tablets. And, you know, you want to play something else, but those games just don't offer a service on mobile potentially. Then I'll get it as well. But somebody who chooses when I've got a library of hundreds of games and everything else to play, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, could drink a glass of water. Nice Trappist quadruple. Much more enjoyable. I know which one's better for me. You know what I mean? Now, if I went to the pub and there's a 50-50 chance whether they gave me a fucking glass of fucking water or a pint, then that'd be different. Then I'd be like, hey, fuck this. I think it would be easy to swap to non-gacha than we think. All they have to do is make certain skins you can save premium currency for. I don't know. I think it depends on the way the game's designed, right? Because you remove gacha, then you grind for characters, right? You either grind for characters or you buy the characters, right? So you've got an element of, which you still have to kind of do now anyway, you have to grind for currency, but like you have to pick and choose when you're going for where now. You could be grinding for everything, like in Duet Night Abyss, you can grind for everything. So you have to kind of potentially reduce the grind in other areas, because then you've got grind upon grind upon grind, which is probably what we're going to have to a degree, right? And where it can get problematic. And then I think you kind of potentially have to redesign the way the characters are built, because if you're removing the gacha, it kind of affects other systems, I think, in how you farm for units as well, and how maybe you have RNG on those particular elements to the game also. You know what I mean? Because all of those systems are designed in a way to facilitate you to push towards the gacha, aren't they? Without the gacha, if those systems are there just for the sake of it, they really become a roadblock to enjoyment, I think. Where like in a gacha game, there's always that thing of, well, I'm doing this because I'm that close to potentially getting the character I want to get. But if that's gone, or you're having to do that anyway, and then you do this on top, I think it could cause problems. But I think if a game's like a year off from launch, I think it could be easily remedied. I'm talking more games that are like a couple of months to launch, right? If you're launching in 3 months, I think ripping the gacha out your game is probably a real risky thing to do. Because one, you're totally throwing it up there in the air to how you're monetizing the game. And two, you're fundamentally going to change major things in the game, aren't you? And I think post-launch content is going to be dictated heavily at the speed in which you get it, right? I want Enfield to be a gacha, still possibly print money for Hypergryph, specifically in the rumours true that Enfield is going to be their last gacha game and make other stuff. So like for me, I'll be honest, like I like Hypergryph, right? Like I like Kuro, but I don't really care about them making money so much as long as they give me good games. You know what I mean? And I enjoy myself really. But I get what you're saying. If it means funding potentially some amazing stuff in the future that's separate from gacha, I totally get that, Leo. You planning on playing Deadlock soon? I'll be down to play some Deadlock, dude. I ain't played for ages, bro. I'll be down. Good luck with that, Pixie's a bum. Deadlock's amazing, Crystal. Yo, Experimental, welcome to the stream. With their gacha, there's a risk of their income getting... Well, exactly right. If you haven't got FOMO to your systems, there's a likelihood that people just won't buy them, right? Skins, like... When it comes to skins, it's easy for people to say, why don't they just sell skins, man? They'd make bank. It's not really true, though, is it? Because we have to admit, when you have a gacha system, right, you can rely on psychological triggers, which allows you to potentially make a lesser version of a game and have other systems that facilitate all those psychological triggers, right? All these systems in these games that feel weird, and you're like, what is this? It's to keep that psychological hamster wheel going. So you when it comes to the you know, you're getting all these hits of dopamine, you're getting all these instant gratification. This, yes, I got the high crit. Yes, I got that freaking stat that I needed. And then, you know, you get that urge from the gacha, right? And if you have a skin system, a game is really reliant on being uber successful to the point where people play it so much that they then choose to buy skins, right? Where with a gacha game, you can get people to spend and maybe even play the game less than something else, right? So like, it's a risky play. Like I say, it'll be very much interesting to see how Do It Night to Bison and Ananta do it right. I think they're going to be major case studies, and I think there's going to be your Huyos, your Kuros, everybody's going to be watching to see how it works out, right? To see what they implement in a way to push people to spend. You know, man's back to farming Kuro, would you know? Yeah, true, Leo, true, yeah. I'm interested in that. Check React Smash real quick. IGN and Sony confirmed the release date of Enfield. Real and true. What's this? What's this? Jova. 31st of December 2049. Let's go. Hey, that's a little bit earlier than I thought, actually, to be fair. So, yeah, man. Buzzing. Buzzing. Early access, boys. Fact that there's discussing defending means it won't. Exactly right. Exactly. Something I think is going to be different is what's going to happen in the downtime. People don't realise how useful asteroids are under is at keeping you logging in. Exactly. We're going to talk about that in a second because going away from like the gacha system allows companies to take time. When you take time, you risk people, you know, becoming unhooked, right? You know, becoming you know, losing the desire to suckle on the teat of constantly logging into a game. And I think we've all been there, where like kind of me with Wuthering Waves, right? And the way I was with Genshin, you don't necessarily quit because you're like, fuck this game. It happens in a gradual thing, doesn't it? Because something happens in the game, or just that you know, you decide not to log in for whatever reason. Another game comes along or something like that, and then that day turns into 2 days, and then 3 days, and then you might log back in here and there and then not do your dailies and then drop out of that system, you know, the daily loop, because you're caught up in that. You stop doing that, you stop doing the farming. Now you're just logging in. Then you stop logging in because then next thing you know, 6 months have gone by and you're like, damn, did I quit? You know what I mean? And that can happen a lot easier if you don't have all those systems that are like hooks, right? If it's just come back when the patch is out, of course a lot of people will. But there's a lot of people who won't as well, right? Because something else will take their attention away. $20.49 mark your calendars. Did you miss anything? Nah, we're just waffling at the minute. We're just waffling. It's what we usually do, right? It's what we usually do. Alright, turn that down. Alright. So, speaking of, let's talk about it. Where is he? Okay. Let me get chat up. Pixie's telling us his weird experience right there. Honestly, that's a sign that a person wasn't really enjoying a game. Burnout is common, but for good games, his return is also common. This is true. I've said this before, though. Like, I am very much well aware that it's not even burnout for me. I was speaking about this when I've got, like, this thing of, like, constantly trying new gacha games, right? When I sort of started to stop playing Wuthering Waves, there was part of that for sure, Crystal, you're right. But I'm also well aware that sometimes and a burnout is a personal thing anyway. It's not necessarily the game's doing too much. It's either you've played it too much or too much for what you're used to. But I'm just well aware that, I suppose burnout is the right word, right? But it's not even burnout because I've been doing it too much. It's just that I'm like a magpie, man. It's like, ooh, shiny thing, ooh, shiny thing, ooh, shiny thing. You know what I mean? And you know, I play with that shiny thing for a little bit, and then I'm like, oh, I get distracted super easy. So yeah, there is that as well. Like, again, if I play a game for anything like 6 to 12 months plus, that game's done a real good job of keeping me hooked. You know what I mean? Because most games don't last 2 weeks with me, if I'm honest. Most don't. I feel like the difference between gacha and non-gacha is how they people value a character. Gacha spamming with characters, meanwhile non-gachas let you dress your faves. True. Ananta is as fun as it looks. The trailer, it's so old for NTE. Yeah, somebody was commenting on my video the other day, right? They were like, I'm sick of people comparing Ananta and NTE together. Like, you know, you can like both of them. And I was like, you can, but they're very much comparable. And I get people's frustration, I think, you know, sometimes. But like, I think they're fair games to compare, right? And like the person was just like, that's like, you know... you said because they're all open world RPGs. I mean, that's a bit disingenuous, right? Like, I don't compare Ananta to Wuthering Waves, really. I definitely don't compare it to The Witcher 3, right? You know, they're all open world RPGs, but Ananta's very much comparable to NTE. The fact of the setting, the style, they've got live sim elements to them. There's racing. You know, they're obviously target. It's like, you know, back in the day, people compared Saints Row and Grand Theft Auto, right? You know. There's a reason why you're doing that, isn't there? You know, I think it's totally fair to compare them, really. Oh, here we go again. Another 2 air reacting and 1 point favor law, 0 air for icebreaker. Then today is so peak. All the irony. Yeah, okay, blue. I mean, I did not stick for the NTE aesthetic that much. When I was in Ananta, I was able to make hype trailers unlike NTA. Yeah, they do. They are really good at that, right? We attack people out of nowhere, as well as a magpie. I think it's also not having anything meaningful to do during dry spells during each patch. Yeah. Ananta, NTE, and DNA. NTE doesn't look bad. Yeah, don't get me wrong, like, NTE, it doesn't look bad at all. Like, I'm going to play NTE, and I'm sure there's plenty of fun to be had in that game, honestly. I just think that's as far as it goes with NTE. It just doesn't look bad. Where, like, at the mini, now we need to, like, the proof will be in the pudding, because at least NTE, we've seen prolonged segments of gameplay, right? A game can look totally different when there's no editing. That's what we need to see now from Ananta, is a 7 to 15 minute stretch of unedited gameplay of somebody just doing something in the game, right? Going from a bit of open world exploring to a mission and then doing a mission beat. And that'll be the proof, right? Because, you know, you can do a lot with editing, can't you? But like, NTE just looks okay, where at the moment, Ananta just looks better, doesn't he? It just looks better. You know, and that's not like shitting on NTE, really. It's just, you know, it just looks better, doesn't he? How do you compare Ananta to the original Super Mario Bros. For the NES? Yeah, I agree, Easy. I agree. I think we'll go down something like, I think we'll have like a, I don't know if it'll actually be shark cards. It'll probably just be currency bundles, right? But I think we'll have something like that. And then I think we'll have bundles. Like if you unlock characters in the game, I've got an idea that we'll probably have like, you got Dave and Jim, right? They're the two characters, Dave and Jim. And then you'll have like Dave's bundle, where it'll be like Dave's bundle with some outfits, right? And maybe some gun skins for Dave. Maybe I don't know, maybe who knows if there's special weapons for certain characters, and maybe a car wrap. That's Dave's bundle, right? Or it comes with a car, and Jim's bundle over here is his own thing, kind of thing. I think we'll have something like that. I do. You're not really looking forward to what Ananta is doing. There's always be a catch. I agree. I agree that it's obviously the positives and the reduction of FOMO, right? Or the negatives could potentially be insane grind, right? Insane grind and excessive monetization across the board over everything, right? That's the problem. And then just the update flow as well. Enfield is literally a different genre. Yeah, totally different games, aren't they? You know what I mean? Like, so I was trying to say to that person, I was like, to me, you can compare Ananta and NTE, even though one of them's not a gacha anymore, Ananta and NTE together, they're both open world RPGs, right? You compare them much more to each other than you can them to Wuthering Waves, or even them to something like The Witcher. You know, I wouldn't even compare The Witcher and Wuthering Waves together. Like, the only thing that they're compared to is that they're both fantasy open world RPGs, right? There's just so much difference. Like, Enfield separates itself not only from most gacha games, but from most open world RPGs, just in with the base building system, right? You know what I mean? It kind of crosses over RPG and survival base building elements, doesn't it? I think out of all the upcoming gacha games, personally, now who knows who's going to be the most successful, right? We don't know. I think Enfield has the least to worry. I'm biased because I'm looking forward to it, but I think it's doing something to separate itself more than all the others. Azure Familiar looks a lot more comparable to Genshin and Wuthering Waves than Enfield does. Silver Palace does as well, at least from what we saw of the combat. NTE does as well because what we know of the combat, right? These are games that look like they've got the rotation-based intro, outro kind of combat. That alone, for me, is enough to be like, well, I've done that elsewhere, where NTE in its combat separating itself and other elements as well. Like, I think NTE is, Enfield, sorry. Fucking hell, sounding like my nan. Elliot, Ashley, Carly, Richard, you know, I think it does enough to separate itself for me. Yeah, Renegade, exactly. Who the fuck compares Witcher to Ua? Well, this was my point to him. What I was saying was, Wuthering Waves and The Witcher 3 are open world RPGs, right? Because he was trying to say, I'm comparing open world RPGs. And I was like, I'm not. I'm comparing these two games specifically. They're both open world RPGs, but that's not why I'm comparing them. And that's why I brought the Wuthering Waves and The Witcher in. I was like, Wuthering Waves and The Witcher are both open world RPGs, but you wouldn't compare them to they're not comparable to NTE and Ananta, in my opinion. And Wuthering Waves and The Witcher's not comparable to each other. You know what I mean? Even though the comparisons are the fantasy open world RPGs, right? That's where it ends for me, where Ananta and NT are both open world RPGs, but they definitely have comparable points to them, don't they? And if you don't see that, I don't know what to say. That's what I said to him. I was like, if you don't see that, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to you because, like, I can't help you there. Like, if you can't see what I'm trying to say there, you know, maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, anyway, Lucky, you got an element and a lime, you know, as to like freaking what, like a banana or something or a strawberry, you know what I mean? You can compare them. You can all compare them all together, but you know, there's reasons why you're comparing others to others because there's actually crossover to a degree, right? People are saying Ananta was like sleeping dogs, one can hope. To be fair, I can see what they're saying in regards to the combat, right? You know, the combat in the game is, the melee combat is very sleeping dogs, Yakuza, with a little twist of Batman, right? You reckon? I think there's a little bit of that there. All right, let's talk about this then. So, obviously, we've had the Ananta gameplay reveal. And we've also had the reveal that there is no character gacha, which a lot of people are incredibly happy about this, because this is now potentially the evolution of the action anime game, right? We're moving away from gacha. We're moving away from that specific monetization system to other monetization systems. But that comes with a risk of potentially worse versions of something, right? We always think it can get better. The grass is greener on the other side. If we remove this particular system that we don't like, it doesn't always work out like that, does it? So let's discuss this, because I kind of wanted to talk about this, because apparently I saw this post, and I'm curious to see what people have got to say. Why do people hate the no gacha system? Now, I don't know if this is just one guy or this is people having this convo in a bit more of a broad sense. And we've got this video from Amethyst Abrams here as well, which I had a little look over, right? I haven't watched all of it. But apparently, people are mad about certain things, like the fact that you can Spider-Man swing, right? Which apparently the dev said it was more based on prototype. But like, you gotta go look at the animations, right? You know, look at the animations. They're very Spider-Man, aren't they? I'm not saying prototype wasn't the inspiration, but like the way dude moves in the air is straight out to Spider-Man. I don't have an issue with that, and I'm not mad at games taking systems from other games, because this is a game that definitely does that, right? This is a game that's definitely trying to attract people from Spider-Man, from Grand Theft Auto, from Yakuza, potentially Sleeping Dogs, Watch Dogs, and maybe a myriad of other games as well, right? Maybe a myriad of other games. So, let's have a look at this post here, because we know the game's going to have no character gacha. We don't know if there's going to be no gacha at all, right? And we don't know how exactly we're going to gain characters. And what I mean by that is, they said you can do it from playing the game. Is it going to be like Duet Knights Abyss when it's forever, right? A character comes out, and then you can just get that character from playing the game from now until you decide to stop playing the game, or EOS is. Are you going to be able to buy characters? Are you going to be able to buy parts of characters like how you can in Duet Knights Abyss, where maybe you've grinded 80% of the character and you spend 20% in real money to get the last bit of the character, and you've got the character. So, we're really interesting. So, let's actually talk about how we think the monetization system is going to go. Because I mentioned this in my previous video, right? Is that I think we're more than likely probably going down a GTA monetization route, right? I think that's where we're going. I think they're taking too much inspiration from other gacha games. The scope is too broad. See, like, I understand the worry about that personally, right? And I get that. I think if you're going to do an open world urban sandbox game that is definitely, I'm not saying it's trying to compete with GTA in that exact sense, but we know what it's doing, right? I think if you have a game like this, you kind of have to do that. And what I mean by is, if you don't, you're going to have a very boring sandbox, in my opinion. And if you're removing the gacha, right, there's got to be a little bit more something about the game, in my opinion. And I think you do have to kind of have a myriad of systems. You have to have loads of systems of fun things to do in the sandbox. It's about how well you do it, right? That is a factor. But I do think you kind of have to be a jack of all trades in this kind of particular space, in my opinion. It's how well you are at all of those trades, how good you do them, right? Because if you don't have enough to do, then it's boring. But obviously there's a balance. There's a balance of having just enough stuff to do, but the things that you get to do are fun to do, aren't they? But I understand people's worry in the sense that, like, well, it's trying to be a Watch Dogs game. It's trying to be Yakuza / Sleeping Dogs. It's trying to be Spider-Man. It's got third-person shooting. I know, what Division style, if you will. But I think it kind of has to be all those things for me to kind of pull in that audience. Whether they implement it correctly is a different thing, and it's going to be incredibly hard to do. Right, it's going to be incredibly hard to do because creating an urban sandbox experience is not easy. There's a reason why GTA is so big, because most companies that try to do it, they fail at keeping the longevity right. That first exploration, that first little bit of fun is like, oh, this is cool, and then there's not much to do. The environments are not great. NPCs don't react to you well. All of that is going to be incredibly important, I think. But I do understand people's worries, right? I get it, because we haven't really seen anybody in this space really do that. Most of the open worlds in gacha games kind of are... It's not an illusion of an open world, but it's as good as, because once the world ends up becoming, you do a first exploration, and then it becomes a place to farm, right? And a place to bounce around little areas, to do your things, to build your characters, and then continue with your next bit of story. It's not often you find yourself just having fun in the sandbox, right? Because they're not really sandbox games. They're open world, but they're not sandbox in the idea of something like Red Dead Redemption or GTA. They're open world, but they're sandbox games, right? I think there's a bit of a different distinction, isn't there? You've got open world games, and then you've got sandbox games. And I think like Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact are open world games, but they're definitely not sandbox games, in my opinion. Because that infinite fun is not there to be had. This has to have that, especially now the gacha system's gone, in my opinion, because you can't keep players focused on the gacha system. They're going to want to do other things now, aren't they? They're going to want to have fun with the environments and stuff like that. So they have to get that right, and that usually means a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, let's talk about monetization. I think we're definitely going to see not exactly a shark card system, right? But potentially a system where you buy currency to buy things in games. We saw in game with the clothes and all that sort of stuff. There's price tags on the clothes, which actually Ken did share an image of earlier. We saw it in the trailer though, guys. You've all saw it, right? Let's get to general, sorry. You've all saw these images in the trailer where you've got your items of clothing here, and they've got price tags on, right? You're going to be grinding for these things, whether it's through missions, whether it's through potential co-op, online stuff, whether it's through races. As you play the game, you're going to earn cash. And you can see these are pretty freaking expensive, right? So there's probably going to be a lot of grinding. We can see here as well, by the looks of it, we've got purple items and we've got grey items. I don't know if these look like you can't access them. Now, I'm not sure if that's because the character's wearing them or what. I'm assuming there's probably going to be different levels of gear. Now, we don't know yet. It says cosmetics right in the game. But what if some of these do carry stats, right? There's potential for that, right? You know, if we look at the weapons in the game, right? If you look at the weapons in the game, when you bring up the weapon wheel, it looks like there's attributes to the weapons, where the weapon that we see them pick up has like a fire emblem next to them. So maybe there's a pseudo elemental system in the game in that sense, where you know, there's going to be like fire, ice, electro weapons, all that sort of stuff. Not saying you'll have a system like Wuthering Waves or Genshin, but just potentially being able to inflict enemies with certain like dot damages or whatever, or, you know, the ability to do AoE through particular weapons and stuff. So I'd be interested to see if clothing actually does have some kind of gear system. And then that will, if it does, then we're going to see a major change to how potentially invasive the monetization system is, right? It's cosmetics and you just want to have your character look cool, then that's fine, right? If it's gear and it has stats, then you can start to get to a bit more of a problematic point right now. If you can lock it in the game, fine. How bad is the grind going to be? Because we know that with something like this, if they're removing the gacha, it comes with a caveat, right? You don't remove such a predatory, profitable system without attempting to push the person towards swiping, right? If you can't get people with FOMO, you get them with the idea of buying a solution, right? And the solution's usually, you want to skip the grind? Hey, just input your details here and you can maybe get the new character that you had to grind for, maybe get that new car bundle that's just dropped, maybe get the brand new outfit that's just dropped in the store. So I would imagine there's going to be something like that, right? So it's probably going to have a lot of grind. I wouldn't be surprised if we have bundles, right? We know there's characters in the game. Now, I don't know if there's going to be new characters dropping regularly or we're just going to have a roster of characters that we unlock. Who knows? We don't know, right? We've got to figure this sort of stuff out as we learn. If that's the case, could we potentially have character bundles where you could buy an outfit, like a signature outfit for a character, and it comes with a car skin or even a car and weapon skins, all this sort of stuff? Because I would imagine with a game like this, I'm going to assume we're probably going to have weapon skins, right? We're probably going to have weapon skins. We saw that big hammer. We saw the flamethrower, the guns. I think if we're going to be selling cosmetics, it would make sense to sell weapon cosmetics, right? If you can have a flashy hammer that looks, I don't know, cooler than the next person's hammer. Because a lot of these games they'll sell off like the drip factor, won't they? Of where people don't want to be looking poor in the game. There's a lot of people who think like that, especially if there's going to be co-op. And I'm going to assume there's going to be plenty of co-op. And the only reason I'm assuming that is because of the cosmetic side of things, right? Single player games tend not to do insanely well just off cosmetics. Now, I'm not saying people won't spend on a single player game, but if you can't flex on other people in a lobby with your character that looks way cooler than their character because you dropped 100 quid on the game, those people might spend less. So I think that means we're obviously going to have racing in the game, right? I think that means potential of co-op missions, i.e. heists from GTA or something similar to that, right? I think that means potentially, we've already saw that there's gunfighting in the game in terms of third-person weapon combat. Are we going to have things like TDM, deathmatch, kind of like GTA had? Are we going to potentially... Now, this is the question. If they go down this route, do you think they'll be brave enough to really lean into the GTA side of things and have community created events, right? Do you think that's a potential thing that we could see? I don't know if you guys ever remember Rockets versus Insurgents and the death runs and the wall running races that people used to create in Grand Theft Auto. Some insane fun. And then obviously we've got RP servers now. I don't expect RP servers, but it would be cool if they allowed for community created content. So, you know, even just simple things. We saw a wingsuit in the game, right? Just a little thing of people creating own custom challenges of different maps, and you fly around and you do wingsuit races. That'll be another way to grind for cash. Racing will be a way to grind for cash. Deathmatch, team deathmatch, heists, if we get them, will be a way to grind for cash. Obviously, story will be a way to grind for cash. And then obviously, spending money will be a way to grind for cash. Just that way, you got to go and grind your job to get the stuff. So, in this video as well, Amethyst talks about, it does go over that the Spider-Man element's got people mad. I don't know who these people are, right? I don't know who these people are who are mad, right? Now, I'll ask this question to you. I'll put this question to you. Are you guys mad about that? Like, we can see it, right? We can see the inspiration, right? We know what they're doing here, right? We know what they're doing here. This video quality is a bit bad. We know what they're doing here. This is Yakuza, Sleeping Dogs, Batman, right? We know what they're doing, right? We know what they're doing. We know when we're seeing the characters swinging around the map. We know where that's from, don't we? You know what I mean? We know when we're seeing character switches and it goes up into the sky and goes over to another character. We all know where that's from. But that shouldn't be anything that makes you mad. Now, again, it doesn't have to show any people talking about this. I don't know if this is just a one guy situation. I think this might be just he does mention that people are mad. Right, I don't know if this is just a way to frame the video. You know, obviously, as I said, we've got the character switching that's like GTA. There's definitely inspiration from multiple games here, isn't there? I definitely seen Watch Dogs. I definitely seen Sleeping Dogs. I definitely seen Yakuza. I saw Grand Theft Auto. We saw Spider-Man. Again, I'm the kind of player, right? I'm the kind of player that's cool with that. I'm cool with it. I've said it before. I suppose I say a bit tongue-in-cheek of, man, plagiarise shit out of other games if it makes the game all like better. I don't care, you know. I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, like, but I honestly don't mind games copying systems out of other games if it just makes the game better. It definitely doesn't make me mad. And I don't know who these people are. I tried to have a look around on Twitter. I couldn't find anything. It doesn't make me mad at all. 3 people on Reddit and Twitter, probably. Hell nah, that's fun. Exactly right. 3 Twitter dwellers, right? 100% Twitter people. Exactly. With some years where RP was massive on Twitch, yeah, role playing was huge, and I don't think it's even a hot take to say. It's true that things like role play and custom mods, I'm talking about single player mods and custom MP stuff in GTA, elongated GTA's lifespan. GTA was an amazing game that would have made bank anyway, right? But GTA, up until, even now there's still loads of people playing, but even up until just 2 years ago, had massive communities role-playing, doing modded stuff. I stayed playing GTA probably for 5 years longer than what I would have because of all the stuff that was in the game, because of being able to play Pokemon in Grand Theft Auto, being able to play Zombie, The Walking Dead in Grand Theft Auto, right? The role-playing servers look insane. So I do think having some community kind of customization would be incredibly useful to this game. And if they're getting rid of gacha, it opens up that possibility. Now, they've got to be really careful about stopping people cheating, right? That's the thing. If you're trying to sell items in a game, you got to really lock down on that, right? Grand Theft Auto still made billions of dollars, but there was plenty of people modding people's accounts, right? I definitely, wink, wink, didn't have billions of dollars put on my account ever. Nobody did that for me, so I could buy all of the cars every time there was an update and do spending spree live streams. Never happened. So they're going to have to be careful of that, right? They're definitely going to have to be careful about that. So yeah, it'll be interesting in regards to the multiplayer sport. I think if they do just enough of that, this game could genuinely. It's not a gacha game anymore, unless it has gacha elements. We don't know that. It might actually have gacha elements, right? This game could potentially, and I know we say all this sort of stuff, oh, this game's going to be massive, man. I haven't said it about Enfield, even though I'm more excited about Enfield than this. I think, let's just call it an anime action RPG. This has the potential to be like the biggest one yet. The first one that genuinely I've looked at and gone, man, this could do Genshin numbers in terms of, maybe not money, but in terms of reach, right? In terms of people outside the gacha space talking about the game, right? In the West as well. I genuinely do think this. I've seen XQC reacting to this game already. This game's already started to reach out to other communities. And I think if they do it good, anime's massive, right? Without the gacha system, leaning into GTA stuff, allowing players to get involved with community content, could be a pretty big game. But anyway, let's look what these got to say here. Why do people hate the no gacha system? I don't get why anyone would want 50-50 or having to pull for characters every patch. Isn't it better for free-to-players to be able to grind for what they want? You already do this in practically every game anyway by logging in daily. So why is it a problem here? I let you saw people being disappointed mad that it wasn't another gacha game, as if that's a bad thing when it's normalised to have predatory systems as a standard of what a fun game is. Now, I can see where this person's coming from, and I agree, right? It's good to see that it's not got a gacha system in it, because it's different in this space. I think a lot of people, I don't know if it's people are mad at having no gacha system. I think it's people are worried of what the alternative is and whether it's a worse system. Because there's a lot of people who play gacha games and can play them for free without spending money, right? They might miss out on things here and there. I think the worry is that maybe large portions of items are totally locked behind a paywall that you just don't get access to. Now, we've heard that characters you will do, but certain stuff will just be premium. Doesn't matter how much you play the game, you'll never get this item, right? You'll never get this item because it's premium. You can have $1 billion in your bank, but there'll be a separate premium currency for this item. There's that worry. And then there's obviously the grind money, right? If you're removing gacha, you could turn something that could take 20 hours to get, maybe 30 hours to get, to 60 to 70 to who knows how many hours, right? I think there's a genuine worry of that as well. And then if you remove the gacha, as I say, what's going to happen with the cosmetics? What's going to happen with the clothing? Is there going to be gear sats attached to all this sort of stuff? I can understand people's worry, right? I definitely get it. But yeah, for me personally, I think Ananta's got so much potential. I think it's got so much potential to be something the biggest something since Genshin, right? I do. I think it, you know, everybody was like, Wuthering Waves is the Genshin killer, right? It's not happened, right? It's not happened. And I'm not saying this is the Genshin killer, because I just think it's such a reductive conversation to have. People said it about Tower of Fantasy. Didn't happen, right? I think Enfield's going to be a decent size. I think Azure Familiar is going to be a decent size. I think this has the potential to be massive, man. I really do. I think you'll have, like, potentially just people who don't play gacha games playing this. People talking about the space who don't play these kinds of games because it does some GTA elements, right? Yeah, I do. I think it has the potential to be the biggest thing in this space. And when I mean this space, I mean the anime space, right? Because obviously the gacha system's gone, or at least what we know of. But it's still part of, it crosses over, right? There's a reason we're talking about it, because we're gacha players. So we're talking about it because we thought it was a gacha, even though it's not. It's interesting to us because it's anime based. So, yeah, man, I think massive, humongous. I was going to say the best thing, sliced bread. The biggest thing since the last big thing. A really, really big thing, actually. Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be huge, chat. Or it has the potential to, anyway. It all depends on how they land it right. If they fuck the landing, then no. Or yeah. Be interested to see what happens. Really be interested to see what happens. Huge mongoose. The biggest thing since the Industrial Revolution. Yeah, big. Pretty big, actually. Pretty large, guys. But it's not a hot take, is it that? I think we can all agree that this game's got the potential to break out the space, right? You know? I think that's a fair thing, right? It's not like I'm saying anything that's like, people are like, what did he say? Right? You know? I think it's a pretty fair thing to say. Anime has become the beast that cannot be fed. By the way, phone users would be deceived. In no way it could go as smooth and pretty as a trailer. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that, Ringo. I rip to phone users. I just can't see that game running well at all on phones. You know? I just... If they make it happen, it'd be impressive, right? But yeah. Like, to me, looking at that, it's a full-on console PC game, right? It kind of like, I look at Wuthering Waves like that. Like, I think we're moving into a space in the gacha space, though, where there's a lot of games who are making active choices to be on mobile and to make it as best as it can on mobile, right? But let's face it, they're not mobile games, are they? Do you know what I mean? You know, I don't think Wuthering Waves is a mobile game, right? I don't even think Zenless is a mobile game. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't like mobiles, so I'm biased. But trying to play Zenless on mobile was horrible. It was horrible. It ran like shit for one, but it was horrible to play. Like, I couldn't imagine playing a game like that on phone. For me personally, no more than I could Enfield. It's a mobileable game. You know, I like that actually. Yeah, really, they are, aren't they? They're just they're console / PC games that just happen to be on mobile, don't they? Whereas, like, you go to something like Arknights. Arknights is a mobile game that, whether or not that that's a bad thing, because it's a great game, right? And it works on PC, and it would work on well, actually, it probably wouldn't be so great on console. It'd be a little bit clunky, I feel. But you know what I mean? That is a game that is specifically designed for mobile and works totally fine on mobile. Like, I play it on mobile sometimes, and it's fine, right? I don't do hard content on mobile because I just don't like playing on a phone. But, like, it's fine. Whereas, like, Enfield, God, I would want to play that on mobile. It'd be horrible. It'd be horrible. I bet the console / PC push say thank you, Genshin. It's true. It's true. People won't want to hear that, but it's true. I said this before. Hoyo did show that massive investment and quotation marks being a AAA, like, there's a lot of money to be made in there, man. A lot of money to be made. They don't have a PC port, they have a mobile port. Facts. That's true. It's a Genshin killer because it's 3D game with blue sky and grass in there, right? Right. I'm not a whole fan, but can we chill on glazing too much on Kuro? I know they cook, but there are more gacha games upcoming in 2026. Oh, for real? Hey, hang around in my streams enough, man. You'll hear me being plenty critical of Kuro. I just like to try and be balanced, and I do recognise, you know, I recognise when certain stuff's doing a good job, right? You know, there's no denying Wuthering Waves is a high quality, well-made gacha game, right? It's beautiful characters, beautiful graphics, great combat, and some really good parts to it. Some really, really good parts to it, you know? But I am somebody who loved Wuthering Waves. I still do love Wuthering Waves, but to the point where when I like stuff, I'm super critical of it, right? I am. I just call it as it is, man. You know what I mean? Like that. I understand my biases. I do, but you'll hear me, guys. Hoyo. You'll hear me, guys. Kuro. You'll hear me, guys. Hypergryph quite a lot. You know. You'll hear me, guys. If a company does something that I think's good, I'll glaze them. If they do something that I don't like, I'll call it out. End of the day, it's the way it is. You know what I mean? It's the way it should be, right? Because they ain't our friends. Hypergryph are a great company, right? I've got no loyalty to them. You know what I mean? As long as they keep making good games, I'll keep singing the praise. Second they're down, I'll be like, yeah, fuck those guys. it's all it is, right? It's all it is. It's the way you got to be about things. Stellasaur, I've been showing off some of the characters as well. Another game I'm looking forward to. Man, I understand what people say now about the auto dubbing. Listen to this.
Good morning, producer.
You know when this was on earlier?
Let's make the bass sound resonate in the Star Tower.
When I first heard this earlier, I thought I had another video on somewhere that was playing something. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's the auto dubbing, isn't it? Now I get it when people are like, bro, turn the auto dubbing off your videos. It's ass. I'm like, well, surely I think some people might want to use it, right? But it sounds bad in English. It sounds bad in English, man. It sounds real bad. I don't know about in other languages, but damn, bro. Damn. I'd rather be deaf, right? Damn. I think it will be free to play, Larry. I worry about content rollout in Ananta. I worry about content rollout personally. I worry about that it's not going to come quick enough. And I think you think about it, right? You know, if you have a pretty dead patch in a gacha game, right, but you've got good banners, it can save a patch, can't it? It can save a patch. This patch is kind of dry, right? There's one event that's all right. The rest of it's kind of ass, but there's two really good characters in the patch. It kind of saves the patch, doesn't it? If you don't have that and you have some bad patches, you know, you've not got much to fall on, have you? This is why I say gacha does allow developers to put out crap sometimes because our monkey brains are like, whoa, man, the best character's out, I've got to get it. If that's gone, you know, and you know you can just grind the character whenever, this is the question, will they allow us to do that, or will there be patch-specific times when you can grind for a character? Because if they do that, that'll be horrible. But if they go down the DNA route of character releases, it's there forever to be for you to grind for. If the patch is bad, what's going to make you play that patch? You might just skip it, and the next thing you know, you stop playing the game, right? This is where I say they need to do a lot of everything. They've got to do everything well, right? This is why I'm okay with them trying all these different things, mini games from this and that, and stuff from this game and stuff from that genre, and having silly little mini game stuff and the housing stuff. But they have to have lots of it because without it, they can't fall back on, hey, but look at the character that's out in the patch today. You know, you want to log in to get the character, right? Without that, like, risky. It's risky, man. It's risky. It's risky. As long as Ananta makes enough treadmills to keep people interested, it'll be fine. Racing, housing, mini games, yeah. I think that's where, like, co-op / online multiplayer stuff will be a big, heavy lifter, right? You know, if you've got, like, third-person TDM and DM, I'll be fun, and it's fun. I'll play the shit out of Ananta. If I can race you lot on live streams and we can have PvP races and do co-op heists together and play some deathmatch and TDM together, I'll be playing that shit all the time because that'll be fun, right? That'll be fun. And that can easily carry a dead patch, right? if you've got lots of content like that to play with friends and randomers, that can easily carry a dead patch. It's just whether they're leaning into that right. I hope they do. Like, it feels like they're setting the game up to do that. It'll be a shame if they don't. It will be a shame if they don't. But yeah. All right, let's have a look in a gacha gaming then, shall we? This game is about to become one of the biggest gacha games on release. It's not a gacha game, but yeah, we just spoke about this. How I think it can become one of the biggest games. Yo, have you seen this? Look at this shit here. In Bangkok, I think. Looks like they were obviously working on the road, right? Water pipes made it collapse, hasn't he? Just keeps going and going though, bro. So I'm thinking mole men are going to start coming out of it. I'll say, oh man, I've been moving away from the edge of that. Holy shit. Damn, I bet that person's thinking, please, somebody get my card away from that. It's like the ground just keeps disappearing. You know? Where does it go? Nobody knows. Yeah, crazy. Is he in front of a hospital, is he? Oh, that might be the hospital there, yeah. Was that person still just sweeping the floor then? Have they just been an NPC? Oh no, he just swung his brush around. I was like, please don't tell me bro's still sweeping the floor. I'll just keep doing my job. Yeah, he still keeps going. The sinkhole's got a sinkhole? Job's a job, Mix. I get paid per square meter, bro. Oh, shit. What was that went down there, then? Was it I'm guessing it's like a phone line, yeah. Oh, man. A bunch of people was just in the middle of a PvP game online. Some dude just jerking off, then just bunk. Disconnected. I feel the pain. I feel the pain. Somebody just got disconnected, man. Like, what the fuck? somebody just won a 50-50 and then got disconnected. So yeah, Enfield's going to appear at the Snapdragon Summit in 2025. So it seems like Enfield are definitely doing some technology partnerships, aren't they? And using mobile technology as a way to show off Enfield. So it looks like they're really pushing for mobile, right? Because Snapdragon mobile chipset makers, aren't they? They're like they do the high-end chips, don't they, Snapdragon? So this is kind of interesting. So yeah, let's have a look at this. Y'all think Enfield's state of play was Copium? No, this is Copium. Snapdragon is one of the biggest manufacturers of phone processors, and every year they have a launch stream for their latest processor in Hawaii. During the stream, they always dedicate a section to announce new features that mobile game devs can use. For context, in last year's Snapdragon Summit, these were the games that showed up. Wuthering Waves showed off Snapdragon's frame generation. Grid Legends announced their release date at the Snapdragon Summit. Ooh, Copium, boys. Copium. Naraka Blade Point showed off Naraka's AI teammate voice commands, something a certain administrator could use. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Infinity Nikki, Dark and Darker, Jade Dynasty, Farming Simulator 23, Viva Football, Zen Pinball 2 announced support for Snapdragon Game Super Resolution 2.0. With Enfield already announced to have ray tracing on iOS, is the perfect time for Snapdragon to use Enfield as a showcase for their own ray tracing on Android. So I'm gonna say I don't think they're gonna announce a release date at this, right? Now it's obviously big enough for companies like Grid Legends to announce their release date, but I feel if they're going to announce a release date at anything, it's going to be at the Tokyo Game Show, or it's potentially going to be at the Game Awards, right? They're going to be up on stage and they're going to have a trailer and they're going to announce the date. I think that's when it's going to happen. What would you say if they're gonna show it off at any event, expo, right? Imagine your low light, right? Imagine your low light. You've got the Snapdragon Summit, you've got TGS, and you've got the Game Awards. What are you choosing? What are you choosing to announce the release date of your game? Mobile version, yeah, they're probably going to show the game running on a, like, even something like Wuthering Waves, right, frame generation, or showing it running at a high end on mobile, right, and what it's capable of doing. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to show off. Yeah, Tokyo or Game Awards. Wait, is this confirmed or someone is guessing here? I don't know. It just says it's Enfield. Will it be, let's have a look. Let's have a look, actually. Let's have a look while you guys let me know what you think. Let me Google it. Let me Google it. Let me Google it. Let's have a look at the Snapdragon Summit. Snapdragon Summit kickoff, CEO keynote, blah, 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 CEO to CEO, AI empowering creators. Product announcements, keynote, the next generation is here. Snapdragon Insiders Ultra after show. Yeah. Oh shit, it's already started. It's actually already started. Did I read that right on there? Where was it? Wednesday, September 24th. So it should be today then. They're showing something off then. The keynote. They're producing the next product announcements keynote then, apparently. It's going to be 10:30 a.m. What's HT? 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard. So that's going to be like what? 6:30 from... No, 8:30 from me, is he? I think. Is he? Is that right? That's a 50-50.
Snapdragon
yeah,
is leading.
live in 7 hours. Oh, here you go. I'll link this to anybody who might be interested, and I'll put it in Discord, actually, if anybody's interested. You can check that out if you want later. So, I guess we'll find out later. I can't see any confirmation. Let me go to... Let me go to Snapdragon's website themselves. Okay, it just brings me to that Qualcomm. Okay, all right, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's qualified, confirmed, but hey, yeah, I'm gonna believe Reddit. I'm gonna believe Reddit. Reddit's never led me wrong. Never led me wrong, man. It's never. No one's ever lied on Reddit, guys. Come on now. Ray tracing on launch, we could never. Game Awards for me, putting my money on the Game Awards unless it's all of the above, their own streams. Though that's a 50-50. They already did an announcement on the Game Awards once, and the next year they did announce a beta the day after Game Awards, and probably can expect one this year after. Yeah, see, like, bold words, right? I think the Game Awards now is the biggest place, isn't it, to announce your game, right? I think it is, isn't it, really? E3 used to be the place if you were announcing your game or your game's launch or just a major thing for your game. It was E3, right? Now, I know a lot of companies will show off trailers and then do their own announcements. But if I was Hypergryph and I was wanted to get the biggest impact, I'd go for the Game Awards. Because, let's face it, right? Tokyo Game Show's full of gacha games and anime games, right? You're preaching to the choir. You get to the Game Awards... You're reaching out to people who are not part of it. Your audience is going to know anyway, right? Your audience is going to know, right? They've announced it. It's coming out 6th of February, let's say, right? But your normies and non-gacha players aren't. But if you announce it at the Game Awards, massive chance that, Timmy's dad, who's just having his tea in his 5th can of Stella, be like, oh, what's this? I like the look of this. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, I think it'll probably be the Game Awards if you get anything, or they'll do their own thing. Maybe we're just talking shit though at the minute. We know fuck all. We know fuck all, guys. Anyway, is this Hoyo versus other game? Have you seen this? Petite Planet. The fuck is this? So, there's nothing on the website. They've got a Twitter for it now as well. Petite Planet Game. But yeah, they've got a little teaser, if you will. It's like a teaser of a teaser, really. Okay, they've got a new logo. Says nothing really. Looks like another cutesy game, right? At first, I thought it was linked to Nexus Anima. Well, this really doesn't tell us anything, does it? Kind of cool logo, though, right? Kind of got the logo. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. There's nothing on it. Have they actually got a YouTube channel for this? Oh, they have, yeah. Actually, we'll subscribe. Did it say anything about it? There's nothing on the website. See, I don't know. Looks like they're really leaning into trying to they're trying to capture that sort of, I don't want to be sexist to say the female audience, but the cozy gamer audience, should I say? You know, the cozy gamer audience. Now, obviously, I don't know where I'm getting that from. That because there's fuck all from that. Could be like Popcom. Could be like a little box price game or something. Couldn't he? It's true. You know, we like these Nexus Anima or Anima Nexus. They're definitely trying something new there, aren't they? So, yeah. This is a Discord I joined earlier because somebody set it up for non-gacha games, if you will. But yeah, nothing really there to look at. Once you see a fan concept designed by Ryuju Red, senior concept artist in Tencent. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Ooh, look at that. I couldn't get over how big the vehicles was in Enfield. You'd walk next to the vehicles and they were gigantic, weren't they? We got this image from the health centre, yeah. What's his character's name, chat? That's a new character we saw in the last trailer, right? Who is this? She's hot as well, yeah. I like the design. Is it a redesign of a character that was in the beta or what? Let's introduce young children to the gambling addiction. Right, like Stella Sora has been announced to be rated at a 9+, right? And I saw loads of people saying like, oh, this is really good. Like, why? Why is that really good? Like, if you're an adult, why do you care if 9-year-olds can play the game? Gacha games, in my opinion, should all be 18+. They just should, shouldn't they? There's no reason for them not to be. Then we get more mature elements to the games as well. Well, you know, we shouldn't be having 9-year-olds being like, oh, let me win a 50-50, daddy. You know? New character. I need to, Leo. I need to get her to come play some games. As system setup says, at the minute, I haven't really set it up. It's all up there. We ain't plugged it in, yeah. New character. We don't know who it is. I saw somebody else saying that, actually, Skybird. Lou Vigna. A new one, but where are the guys? Please, Hypergryph, AK guys are so good bringing some Enfield. That's something I was thinking about the other day. Do you think we're going to see more female-orientated, a more female-orientated roster with Enfield? Do you reckon? Age rating is a suggestion anyways. Yeah, I know, like, I know, like, it really technically, I'm just, like, you know, I just think it should be suggestion or no, it should be set to that, shouldn't it? It should discourage young kids really getting involved in gambling and psychological, because like it's all good and you say, well, you know, most of them probably won't get into problems with the gacha games themselves, but it's just kind of like training their brains to think a certain way, isn't it? When maybe they do start earning money. and they end up in the bookies spurging their wages on the fucking slot machines or on the roulette wheel or something. I want men in my gacha game. Gambling's in the kids' blood. Yeah, Nikkei being 13 plus, man, mentally, yeah. I agree, Agni, I agree. Don't get me wrong, I like my female characters, right? But cool male characters, for me, you know, I want them as well. I want them. So far, it's not looking great. I definitely do think it looks like we're potentially going to get a lot more female, right? Oh, yeah, Frankie, bullet in the head, yeah. Not going to be balanced. I want the ratio to be at least similar to OG. Yeah, I definitely hope we get plenty of females. I mean, males, sorry. I do as well. Some cool-looking male characters, right? Yeah, dude, all penis would be a great-looking type character, right? Oh, man. Just a Bloodborne-esque character, full stop, would be fucking sick, actually. Yeah, I agree. Hopefully, we can only hope anyway. We'll have to see. Let's close this down then because this was just from this. All right, it's a couple of videos to check out then. Should we watch this one from Dr. Silvergun then, shall we, guys? Let's watch this one, man. And then we're going to get into some Code of Brawl. All right. And my throat's wrecked today. Yeah. And my throat's been improving so much. I think I've just got a weak larynx, man. It's too much yapping, boys. Too much yapping, man. Gotta stop the yap fest. Gotta stop the yap fest, guys. Alright, then. Let's get into it, then. Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, it's the most light-hearted game compared to any mainstream gachas. I quite like Blue Archive, I do. I don't play it often. I quite like the gameplay. I know it's a game that puts you on a list. I know it does. I know. But, Lumpianus counts as being 5 miles because he's just that manly. The aftermath of Tallulah really took a toll on your throat. Bro, I'm telling you, man, ever since chapter 6, I've been fucked. Man. So I like I'm finding myself having more days off just to rest the fucking thing. All right, then. Let's do this one then, shall we? Let's do this one. Let's do this one. Let's do it. Okay. All right. I want to check this video out then, guys, because when I was doing the Tallulah fight, you guys kind of showed me the way of potentially locking characters into a position. What was it called now, chat? Let me know what it was called. Basically, allowing you to target an enemy from both tiles, basically. So you lock an enemy into being pretty much in between tiles, which allows you to target the tile that they're on the right side or the left side or the up or down, and be able to target them both, basically. So potentially being able to hit an enemy out of the range of both units or out of the range of one unit, to giving yourself just a bit of a larger crossover, right? Hitbox, splitboxing, that's it. Splitboxing, that's the one. And I was like, damn, actually, that is kind of cool. Apparently, there's some other mechanics here. So we're going to watch this one from Dr. Silvergun. This is an older video, but I don't know probably about any of this. Key mechanics, Arknights does not explain, and how to abuse them. So let's get into this one, because then somebody who's doing the E1 challenge at the mini, any little mechanic that we can potentially use to our advantage, I think is going to help us a lot. That split boxing was a big eye-opener for me. I haven't really had a chance to use it yet, but I think it potentially could be really helpful. So let's see what other ones that we've got here from the man himself, Dr. Silvergun. All right, let's get into it. Let's drop a preemptive like, and let's see the mechanics then that the game doesn't explain, and how to abuse them.
I wanted to make a video explaining some Arknights junk, like how you can block Patriot on a tile he never even steps on. As I was writing that, I realized there are a bunch of mechanics that affect gameplay, but are rarely, if ever, talked about outside of some very dedicated tryhard circles. So I decided to expand the topic of the video to include Various bugs, exploits and mechanics I have learned about over the years. Because Arknights is coded kind of like the Yostar translation, there are a ton of exploits and I'm not familiar with all of them. So, I will only cover the ones I know well enough to consistently abuse and I think are relevant enough to go over. I will talk about how
I like that framework, because sometimes people throw in things that they themselves can't even do with them. Like, you know, hey, try and figure it out then. This is ones that he's actually got a grip of and uses regularly. Alright, let's go.
I think the code works, but I don't data mine shit, and most of my explanations are just mental models, so I can make sense of and experiment with the bugs. I may call them tactics, exploits or bugs throughout the video, so let me be clear on this. I do not care about classification, I just want to win. I feel free to argue about the definitions in the comments if you want though. So, let's get into
I like that. I don't care about classifications. I just want to win. Nice.
If you've watched a lot of my videos, you might remember my clear run H21, where I pushed the Musty into a tile they normally can't reach and blocked them there. I've both used and seen strategies like this in the past, so I didn't think much of it at the time. After I was done grinding all the H12 stages, a question kept nagging me in the back of my head. How exactly do enemies get pushed into tiles they don't even walk on? I know how to manipulate enemies, but I've always done it through trial and error. I was curious what the underlying mechanism is. The two things I knew before I started is that an enemy that has only moved in a straight line cannot be pushed to the side, only backwards, forwards, or if perfectly timed, there will be no displacement. It is possible to move an enemy to the side with a shifter or an operator that has more than one block, but we'll get to that later. So apart
Lap is good for getting units to go on tiles that they wouldn't usually go on as well, right? When she hits him with the fear, yeah. Because I noticed we did that a few times with Patriot, right? Patriot was getting a little scared bitch and was ending up off. Sometimes it can be bad for you though, because it messed us up on that one run with Tallulah, didn't he? Where Tallulah ended up being on the tile we didn't want her to be because we decided to run Lappy ulti from underneath her, and she got hit with a fear, and it kind of messed the run for us up towards the end. Okay.
How do we get things like this? Well, we can only push enemies forwards or backwards, but the moment they turn a corner, all of that changes. Now we can push them to the side as well. So what's up with that? Enemies have two kinds of pathing throughout the map. Either they're like Patriot and have several checkpoints in the map that they need to clear before they can head to the blue box. This is why a lot of enemies move to the center of the tile before they start turning to clear the checkpoint. Alternatively, they have no checkpoints and just take the shortest path to the blue box. This is more.
Yeah, I've noticed that with some smaller mobs actually. I forgot which of the one farming, one of the shit. What was the stage name? I can't remember the stage anyway. But the enemies come out and some of them do that. They come across the tile here and then start to drift up onto this tile.
Most commonly seen on box stages, they don't bother going to the center of the tile and take the shortest possible path instead.
Okay.
Looking at the different enemy movement, you might assume that enemies with checkpoints don't get side pushed, while enemies that take the shortest path do get side pushed. Nope, that's not how it works. They can all be pushed to the side after turning a corner. I thought about all the times I've seen side pushing, like on 6.5, 7.18. In all the examples I could recall, the enemy was always pushed towards the corner they just turned. So this led me to my first theory. When enemies are going to checkpoints, they consider them cleared before they actually reach the center of the tile and therefore start turning early. In support of this, think of enemies who reach the tile and then AFK on it. If you drop an operator on them, they are pushed in the direction they came from, indicating that they are not perfectly centered. As when you do the same on an enemy that spawns on the tile, they do not move at all. This theory seemed sound, so I went out and tested it. It was quickly proven wrong. There are numerous enemies who show the exact opposite behavior, and when turning a corner, end up farther away from the corner and are pushed in the opposite direction. I even found a few examples of enemies.
I'm assuming this is down to like the way the game's coded, in particular enemies pathing and how they're just how it's hard written into their pathing. I'm assuming, right?
AFKing on a tile that will get pushed forward instead of backward when you block them. My first theory was dead wrong. So let's summarize what we know so far. Side pushes only occur after a corner. Push direction is not random. Multiple enemies in the same route are pushed in the same direction. At this point I asked around for help, I got linked to a post on Billy which explained how block shifting works. In short, enemies are a circle, operators are a circle.
Red did mention this in the last stream, actually. He spoke about that a bit. I think he was mentioning more the targeting now being the circle rather than the enemy.
If the center of the enemy circle is inside the operator circle, they get pushed out with the shortest possible
Okay,
path.
that makes
If the
sense.
center of the circles overlap, there is no push. It also went into detail on how blocking multiple enemies worked and showed an interesting application
So does the size of the enemy dictate that as well, then, there?
of it.
Does it?
Well, it was an interesting read and I'll link it in the description if you want to look at it yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a
It
look at
didn't
that.
answer my questions at all. I wanted to know about the corner bullshit. A Monster Hunter player that doesn't even play Arknights suggested an explanation. For uneducated hacks like myself, a floating point error is a rounding error. Say you have an enemy that moves 1 tile per second. The game updates its position every frame and runs at 60 frames a second. So 1 divided by 60 is 0.01666666 every frame. Since an infinitely long number cannot be used by the game, it rounds it down to something it can work with. For example,
Okay.
0.01666667. This causes a small error in movement, since the rounded number isn't a 60th of the original anymore. And we end up with a slight inaccuracy in the movement. If this theory is correct, we should be able to observe several phenomena. If we interfere with enemies by slowing down their movement speed, it should be possible to change whether they're pushed towards the corner or away from it. Second, if we find a map where enemies with different speeds have the same pathing, we might observe different enemies being pushed in different directions, based on their movement speed. On DMEX6, the Sarkaz trash mobs are normally pushed up, but if we use a slow supporter, they can be pushed down instead.
Interesting. So, okay, so as I was saying then, like, I know there is faster moving, larger enemies, so I imagine the size is going to be, it's the speed, but you know what I mean, like a lot of bigger enemies are slower, right? And I'm wondering as well with the size of their hitbox, if you will, because obviously, if there's a bigger hitbox, and it's 2 units is traveling at the same speed, right, and one's got a bigger hitbox, and I don't know if they have, this is how it works, then that hitbox is going to be reaching a point quicker than the other hitbox, if that makes sense, right? Now, I'm just making shit up here, because the math ain't mathing for me, because I'm a smooth brain, right? I just see things, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I would never have thought to have started breaking it down the way he did, but this is why he's probably really good at the game, and I'm not. You know?
And on CBEX2, we can see different enemies with the same path be pushed in different directions. As a bonus on ICS2, we can observe the opposite. The truck is normally pushed to the left, but if it is enraged, it gains a movement speed buff and it can be pushed to the right instead.
Okay, that makes sense then,
I
yeah,
tried to see
okay.
if there was some other way to change the push, other than using slows, and I found one. It only worked for enemies that overshoot the center though. These armored guys are normally pushed away from the corner, but if you block them just as they touch the center of the tile, they can be pushed back while still clearing the checkpoint. This will make
So, you know, in essence, when you're doing that, does that have the potential of split boxing them just the same then, does it?
to the next checkpoint while very close to the corner.
Think
Sadly,
mob oh, they're the same size, are they? Okay.
Without a slow supporter. So, to summarize, enemies move in a straight line when they
Apart
spawn
from
and
bosses.
can only be pushed in one dimension.
The big ones.
Once they turn a corner, they can now be pushed in 2 dimensions. Enemies can only be pushed either towards or away from the corner they turned, and which one is possible depends on their movement speed. We can change the direction of the side push if we interfere with their movement speed. For practical applications, you can block enemies on tiles they don't normally step on, interfere with enemy buffs, or push them in range of another operator. Before we move on from this section, there is a possibly related exploit I'll call the Trapmaster bug. This is how Trapmaster mines are supposed to work. When an enemy triggers the mine, they should be on the mine's tile and block you from placing another mine. Even if you push them back with gravel, they're still blocking the mine. But something odd happens when the enemy is close to centered. When they're close enough to the tile center and they get pushed out, they end up at the same distance from both tiles. Which tile they actually end up seems subject to a similar rounding error. It makes sense why it only works when enemies are well centered. If you imagine the operator circles on the square tiles, there are only a few points where pushing an enemy out of the circle also means pushing them out of the tile. I'd like to remind you all that my explanations of how the game works under the hood are mostly just stuff I made up. All I care about is the end result, not the mechanics. The trick is consistent, but only works on every second tile. Thumbs mentioned it can even work if the enemy isn't perfectly centered, so my idea of what's happening may be off. I don't understand the exploit too well because I rarely use Trapmasters, I only included it because it's funny. On to the blocking section. Okay, so we know that enemies can get side.
Damn, man, all this for a fucking tower defense game, man. Holy shit. I like it, though. Bro, we didn't even... I thought this was going to be a video. Hey, look, you can do this to this carriage if you place a unit like this. Look at that. That's cool, right? This is how you can do it continually. Bro's like, nah, I'm gonna math you now, dude. I'm gonna hit you with the math. Okay, it's cool, though.
Side pushed after turning a corner. That's how the Musty was pushed to the top, but the Musty has a movement speed of 0.5 tiles per second, which always gets pushed towards the corner. So how did we get the Musty pushed up then? Now, this is something you're all very familiar with. When more than one enemy gets blocked, they get shifted around. This is for visual purposes, so their models don't overlap, and you can clearly see how many enemies you're blocking. What you may not know is that the rules behind this are very reliable and can be abused in your favor. Regardless of the direction your operator is facing, or where the enemies come from, they will always get shifted in the same order. The first enemy doesn't move, the second enemy gets shifted clockwise, and then the third enemy gets shifted counterclockwise. With more than 3 block, the fourth enemy overlaps with the first, the fifth enemy overlaps with the second, and so on. This has more than one gameplay interaction. First, in the Musty's case, it can be used to move them up, so that we can later push them into the top lane, away from the corner. Okay, so that's the weird specific thing about blocking that's relevant to my H12 clear. The way blocking works in Arknights is fairly complicated, and someone that's interested in the code can write an entire article about it. As I keep repeating, I just care about the outcome. There are a lot of small details about blocking that I can go over, and I'm not sure which of them are advanced stuff and which of them are very basic things everyone knows. I guess I could ask around some more casual players, get an idea of where the baseline is, but that sounds like something a good YouTuber would do. Instead, I will just info dump at you.
Okay. Yo, this is actually really interesting, this is actually really interesting. I didn't realize, again, I shall say, well, I'm new, but I'm casual, right? The block had this much intricacy to it, and the actual unit's movement within each tile. Never really thought about it to that degree, if I'm honest.
The enemies shifted by blocking can end up closer to the blue box than the first blocked enemy, causing your operators to change targets. Block shifting can push enemies into holes when they come from unusual angles. This can occur organically if they take a sharp turn near a hole, or can be created manually by utilizing other pushes.
Interesting.
The tiles on the maps are squares, but both operators and enemies are circles. Enemies are very small circles, so if they move through the corner of a tile, stupid shit like this can happen. Because operators are circles, if enemies get blocked around the center of the tile, they will be outside of that tile, but if they get blocked in the corner, they will be partly in that tile and can be shot. Everything with block scans for target, they can block every 3 frames, which is why if an enemy moves fast enough, they can get split boxed into the tile they are running towards. If you block an enemy after they have stepped within a tile, they will not be pushed all the way out, so they are now in range of that tile. But also, they will not overlap with any enemy that gets blocked afterwards, meaning the second enemy that gets blocked
so he's staying in the middle there because he's not blocking, whereas if he was fully in that tile, that unit would have ended up at the top and the next at the bottom, right? But surely that next one's going to go up, yeah.
Get shifted. On maps where you can deploy ranged operators on melee tiles, you will notice they can't attack enemies they block if the enemies are outside of their range, like melee operators can. When
that kind of makes sense, though.
Enemies, melee operators will attack the one that is closest to their center, instead of the one closest to the blue box. However, they will not change targets until the one they're attacking is dead or unblocked by some status like shifting.
Didn't know that. Didn't know that.
When you deploy an operator, they are invisible to enemies for a few frames and don't get targeted by ranged attacks. If they block something, the blocked enemy can target.
That explains now why a couple of times, specifically on the first Tallulah stage, what was it, JT8-2, where there was times and I was like, I swear I got the operator down in time then to take the burn attack off that enemy. But I was obviously just a couple of frames out. Visually, it looked like I got it done right, but frame-wise, it had already initiated to go on to that because that character wasn't targetable, I guess, then, right? Okay.
them instantly. Summons don't have this deployment protection, so they can be targeted instantly. This is useful to know on its
Interesting.
own, but it's also part of a targeting bug we'll get into later. That's all
Okay.
the box stuff I can remember off the top of my head. There's a bunch more, but they come up less often. The next one is less of an exploit and more of a useful tip. Since enemies come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, it's sometimes difficult to tell where the enemy actually is just by looking at their model. An easy way to tell the enemy's exact position is to ignore the model and look at their shadows instead. To be clear, the shadow is on their hitbox, but it's close enough. This is especially useful when trying to tell whether a drone is in range of your operators or not. On to the targeting section.
Okay,
For
cool.
ranged operators, there's special targeting, like
That's actually kind of helpful, that is. Especially when you've got a lot of stuff going on. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna try and use that now in future.
anti-air snipers, takes precedence over everything else, followed by enemies with taunt, and then enemies closest to the blue box. When I say closest to the blue box, I mean how many tiles do they have to walk before they go into the blue box. So if you have an enemy that's right next to the blue box, but their pathing will make them circle the map 10 times first, they will have a lower target priority than an enemy that is farther away but heading straight into the blue box.
Okay.
For melee operators,
Makes sense.
enemies blocked by them take precedence over everything else, followed by special targeting, enemies with taunt, and then the closest to the blue box. It's a bit more complicated in practice because enemies have various taunt levels, but this almost never comes up. The only notable example I can think of is H7-4, where Patriot has a higher taunt priority than his shield guards. These guys suck at guarding. For both operators and enemies, finding targets works the same way. Every few frames, they search their range for valid targets. Once they find the target, they start the attack animation. This is why you can have a melee operator hit a fast enemy after they have left their range. This works well enough with most normal enemies, but we have a weird quirk with enemies who attack more than one target. They first determine how many attacks they should launch, only after that do they check who they should attack. This can be exploited like so. The caster has one target in range. They prepare one attack, you then either use a summon or deploy an operator directly on top of them. Their only attack gets used up by the new target, thus protecting another operator. You can do this for every single attack, but you will need a ton of bodies and it becomes impractical. Most enemies have different attacks for melee and range, even if the damage in a
So what do you mean is that dropping them on top? Does he mean like in regards to like a redeploy or... Let me just listen back to that.
the new target, thus protecting another they should launch. Only after that do they check who they should attack. This can be exploited like so. The caster has one target in range.
Okay.
They prepare one attack, you then either use a summon or deploy an operator directly on top of them.
Oh, on top of the enemy. Okay, I think that's just what he's saying, yeah? On top of the enemy, yeah.
Their only attack gets used up by the new target, thus protecting another operator. You can do this for every single attack, but you will need a ton of bodies and it becomes impractical.
I think I get what he's saying there, right? I think.
Attacks for melee and range, even if the damage and animation is exactly the same. This is why the Priestess in IS-4 can freeze your operators when they are blocked. The melee attack has its own cooldown, and they can use it even while the ranged attack is on cooldown. Works the other way around too. If a ranged enemy is unblocked, they will instantly use their ranged attack, regardless of when they last used their melee attacks. If you block a ranged enemy with an operator, they will only use their melee attacks, but the same isn't true for summons. Since summons aren't invisible to the search cycle and deploy, it's possible for an enemy to detect them as a valid target for a ranged attack before they are blocked, causing them to take more damage than an operator would. This doesn't always happen because it depends on whether the enemy gets blocked or the summon gets detected by the ranged attack search scan first. Something related happens with enemies who have special attacks like the Wu or the Emperor's Blade boss. They seem like they always use their special attack first if it's ready, but they can use their normal attack and then use their special, based on how their search scan ends up. You can exploit this to your favor, of course, by manipulating exactly when they use their special attacks to whatever is convenient for you, but for most run it just helps to make it less frustrating if you know why it happens. Pause deploy. This is probably the most well-known exploit in the game, and it only works on an emulator. When you press escape it pauses the game, but unlike a normal pause...
Does that not work on mobile then? The pause deploy? Bro will never fail a stage again. Yeah, let's not get that way. Watch probably the first stage you played today. It's called retargeting. Basically, reset the target lock by range attacks by locking them, by blocking them right before the movement and the enemy to use the attack. Right, okay, I'm gonna have to try and figure that out then. Wonder why Hypergryph didn't have the red tile under the shadow of flying enemies. No way, Mel. Okay, damn.
You can do it while you're deploying an operator. This lets you deploy them while the game is paused. A lot of people swear by this one, but they've never found it all that useful, since I dislike pausing anyway. You can use
I'll say, well, I don't know, maybe I'll be proved wrong. I don't know if it necessarily, it's so much an exploit in that sense. I think it just gives you a little bit of time, doesn't it? You know, it goes from slowing the game down to stopping the game. So it just gives you a breather, doesn't it, while you're doing the deploy, right? Rather than just pausing to think. You know, you're pausing while you're doing, you're allowing you to get an action done, right? So I suppose, like, if you're going frame by frame in that sense, maybe there's the advantage there, right?
Use hotkeys or just move your hands a bit faster to get a similar enough result. Kill gates are a mechanic baked into the game to make it easier on you, but we can push it even further. A lot of bosses have one wave of enemies for their first phase and a second wave of enemies for their second phase. The second wave only spawns once you kill the first phase of the boss. There is a mechanic that prevents the first and second wave from overlapping though. If you kill the boss
you can do it on mobile, it's just really hard to do, is it?
Then the second wave won't start until you kill every enemy from the first wave. This can be exploited to isolate the boss and safely dispose
we know about this, yeah. We know about this.
Of any enemies.
Yeah.
This is less of a bug and more just abusing the intended game mechanics to break the level.
I wouldn't even say that's like abusing to break that. Oh, that's a baked-in feature, right? That's just the game saying, look, this is what's happening. You deal with it, right? And you can deal with it by, you know, stalling's a good factor, and then dealing with everything else, you know what I mean? And then, you know, breaking the level down for you in a sense, right? And just making things a little bit easier. It allows you to not be overwhelmed, if you will. But yeah, I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying.
It works on every boss that has a wave gated behind their second phase, though it isn't always worth the hassle to set up. One extremely funny example of this is the chapter 13 boss. The boss constantly respawns in phase 1 until you break his outer, but the outer itself isn't considered an enemy. If you kill every enemy unit on the map, the game will consider his first phase done and spawn the second wave, while the boss is still stuck in phase 1. A useful trick for H13-4. This isn't an exploit, but something everyone should be aware of. When an operator or summon dies, they will not instantly refund their deploy limit. If you manually retreat them, you'll get it back with no delay. Small detail, but it's useful to keep in mind.
Didn't know that.
Alright, these are all the things that I make use of relatively commonly. There's a bunch of other ones I didn't touch on, either because I'm not too familiar with them, or I thought they were too niche. There's also the whole shifter thing, but that's a can of worms that somebody else can cover. Talking about Mystic Casters next.
The old shifter thing. What's he referencing there? Okay, alright. Interesting. This feels like a video I need to watch again off stream because I need to ingest this information, and this is one of those things I need to play and do it as well, right? Really, really interesting, especially the whole like game mechanic around where an enemy is and units are considered to be by like the game itself regarding their hitbox and their like their pathing and all that sort of stuff as well. And their speed, of course, the speed is like the main factor, really. Is actually really interesting and something I didn't know about. Of course, Red did mention the other day when we were talking about the tiles, he was like, it's more of a circle than the tile. Like the tile itself is the tile, but obviously the operators within them act more as a circle, and that's how the targeting and all of that sort of stuff's dictated as well. Really interesting, actually. Really, really interesting. Like the math side of stuff, man, just goes straight over my head, right? Because I'm terrible at math, right? I'm a white English dude. I'm shit at math. But yeah, I still find it really, really interesting, actually. And the thing with exploits, if you will, or using tech in a game, right? To understand fundamentally why the game does stuff in regards to the engine or the coding or enemy pathing, hitboxing, all that sort of stuff, does make it easier to replicate in game rather than just being like, well, if you do this, it works, which is the simple thing. And if it's easy enough to do, but understanding why something works allows you to potentially be able to replicate it in other situations, or even come up with new ways of using something, right? Because if you understand the way it works, you can then try and implement it in different situations and scenarios as well. So yeah, man, this was this was really, really interesting video again. Another thing that for me again, which solidifies why this game has got such a good good design to it, right? Of the ability that there always feels like there's a cool, interesting other solution to something. And I think it's one of the reasons why, for me, it really stands out in this space of in regards to options and a little bit of thought process into the things you're doing right. Really cool. But guys, you all know Silver Gunman. Go check him out. This was a really interesting video. We're going to have to watch more of these kinds because I found this really, really interesting, actually. So, yeah, great video. This was great video. Give me a second, guys. I'm just going to have to get myself a drink, man. Drop a like on the stream as well if you haven't. Mike. Did I start around a dungeon meshy collab? Yeah, it was round about there, wasn't it? Round about that time. Close, close. The wise chair. Can I check it? Yeah, let's have a look at this Margaret Thatcher thing, man. Let's have a look. Was he in React Smash, is he? This one, yeah. One of humanity's greatest threats, you know. Bro, what the fuck? You head to the 10th circle of hell, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. What the fuck?
Thatcher's tech base.
Okay. Okay, alright. That's kind of based, actually. That's kind of based. That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. Alright, okay. I was gonna watch this, but I'm not gonna bother. Should we have a look at this one? And then we're gonna get into the game, man. We're getting into the game. We've yapped for long enough. Thatcher the world ender. You know. Alright, let's get into this then. Why Honkai? Oh, hold up, 2 secs. Let me close all this shit down, man. I've got too much shit open. Let me get into it. Let's get rid. Alright. Get chat back up. I've lost your chat. Speaking of funky shift attack, Enforcer 3 5-star pushers, the only one who can push mobs in his facing direction, even when the mobs are blocked on his side. Okay. Blaze is rizzing. Alright. Let's do it then. Okay then. Why Honkai Nexus Anima is a confusing game. I really want to watch this because, again, we've spoke about Nexus Anima on this channel, but it's a difficult one, right? Because it's like, who is this game trying to appeal to, right? It feels like it's trying to appeal to the cozy sim life game enjoyer, but then you've got like the TFT online PvP part of things, maybe. Now I know obviously there's going to be single player, but I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of rank system where you can play online, and it's like those two don't seem to mesh up, right? Of going into a game doing ranked stuff and then maybe having a cozy sim kind of part of it. It's a weird crossover. Will it work? I don't know. It's the one game in the Hoyo verse though that if it's probably going to do well because it's Hoyo, right? Whatever they touch turns to gold. But I feel like this is potentially, I don't know. I just don't think it's going to hit like the other Hoyo games have in terms of the success. Now I know there's a lot of people talking about the success of Zenless, but I think it's still doing really well by the looks of things, right? But I'm curious to see what this person's got to say. This is from Red Flame, and see what they think about it, because I think it's an interesting case study for me. This game is, but yeah, let's get into why it's a confusing game then, shall we?
When Hoyo first revealed Honkai Nexus Anima as their next project in the Star Rail concert a few months ago, we all assumed it would play similar to Pokemon in some way because of how they featured the creature-human pairs that were clearly a take on Pokemon and their trainers. Well, months later, Nexus...
I was expecting some kind of turn-based game, right? Turn-based game or something akin to that. I didn't expect the game to be what it actually is. Now, whether it'll be other ways that the game will play, I don't know, but that seems like the core component of the gameplay, right? Doesn't it? That outside, like, this, like, adventure life's cozy game kind of thing that's going on.
Had its gameplay revealed to the world, and to everyone's surprise, it has auto chess style combat, which is definitely not something Pokemon is known for. We've had past event minigames in this style for Genshin and Zenless Zone Zero, but having it be the primary form...
A lot of people feel like that was almost like a little beta test of it, right? It's like, can the game survive on this alone? As I say, if you've got the cozy life sim element to it, right, that's fine. Then it just feels like a weird connection, doesn't it? To have that part of the game and then this part of the game. It just feels like a weird weird collaboration of game elements.
Form of gameplay is completely different. As someone who has played plenty of TFT with both a competitive
games I've never played actually,
and now has access to Nexus Anima's first closed beta test, I feel pretty equipped to explain why this was an extremely confusing direction to take a gacha game from an outside perspective. In case you're unfamiliar, Auto Chess started with a Dota 2 mod that coined the original name. While other auto battlers exist, the main mechanics that this game established is what would go on to inspire the many others to come after. The most popular one by far is the one based on League of Legends champions called Teamfight Tactics, or TFT for short. As the Auto Chess name implies, your units battle all on their own with no direct instruction from the player. If you've never played before, that probably sounds extremely boring, but where the game lacks in mechanical skill, it more than makes up for in strategy and decision making. You're in charge of drafting a team composition composed...
I am actually going to play that game. I haven't played it. I really want to play. I am going to give Nexus Anima a go, right? But yeah, I've never played this genre of game, right? The auto chess. Closest thing I played was the kind of sort of pseudo auto chess that was in Arknights, but I've never played anything like this.
Units with different trait synergies that get increasingly stronger with more unique units. Meanwhile, each unit has a special ability, rarities that correlate to general power level, and item builds made from combining components. You have to also balance your economy because you have a limited amount of gold to use to buy units, refresh the shop which determines what's available to you, and buy levels that increase your unit cap while raising your shop's rates. Then there's unit positioning, augment selection, competing with other players for the same units, and more. So while there is a degree of randomness to the game that can create rare highlight moments for even new players, the nuanced complexity of it makes it so that experienced players can completely destroy those who don't know what they're doing. But like most other online multiplayer live service games, a major component of TFT's replayability is the fact that you play against other people in an 8-person free-for-all.
As I say, this is where I feel like this game has to have a PvP element to it, right? Because who's going to want to play PvE auto chess like for a long period of time? Maybe in bits in here and there, maybe going through the story if there's like trainers like Pokemon where you get little things out of it, but really you're going to the core attraction of a game like that is going to be the people who want to play other people, right? And then I say again, is that the audience that wants to play a cozy sim life sim kind of game? It does feel a bit weird, doesn't it? Feels like an odd synergy of two game designs. Maybe the change to auto chess due to Nintendo's BS patent, maybe, because it's definitely something they've been planning to have, right? Because we've seen it in like ZZZ, right? So but maybe it wasn't the fundamental core and only combat part of the game, if you will, the gameplay itself. Maybe there's something else there, but they wanted to back off from it. I still think there's a potential that they're going to have some problems, maybe, because Nintendo are getting wild recently with some of the stuff that they've been putting out there. But yeah, it'd be really interesting to see. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an unusual one, right? Isn't it?
Although the shop encourages randomness by default, the need to be smart with your economy and play
download League of Legends right now and play TFT
scenarios comes from the pressure of 7 other players trying to knock you out of the game. This creates an infinite amount of possible game states to try and navigate through, keeping the game fresh, at least until a new set comes out that completely changes the units, traits, items, and gimmicks. However, if you've played any Hoyoverse game before, you know fully well that they completely avoid PvP for their main game modes, relegating it to only side minigames. And this makes a lot of sense because, generally speaking, spending more money in gachas means having more power, and being pay to win isn't exactly a highly desired quality in multiplayer games. TFT does have a gacha-like system to spend money on rolling for avatars and arenas that are purely cosmetic with no in-game advantage. That's only possible because people really enjoy the game and want to show off to others. So how does Nexus Anima approach?
That's exactly what I was alluding to earlier, right? When it came to Ananta. When you don't have a gacha system that's related to power and FOMO, you have to rely on systems, either a gacha system related to cosmetics or the desire to purchase cosmetics. And fundamentally, you have to have a game there that people want to put lots of hours in. And when you have PvP, it tends to be a lot easier to get people to want to keep playing and then start to buy skins to flex on people, right? It's really hard to try and get people to spend on those things without having a fundamentally good game there. So like having gacha systems does allow you to be a little bit maybe potentially lazier with the game design sometimes, because the gacha systems themselves can do quite a lot of heavy lifting through psychological triggers and such. And this is like, say, regarding to Ananta with them switching away from gacha.
Approach a compromise between keeping the spirit of the genre while focusing solely on PvE. To answer the first question you probably have, the first beta does not have its gacha system implemented yet, which is consistent.
Wait, hold up. Is it straight up going to be PvE then?
The genre while focusing solely on how does Nexus Anima approach a compromise between keeping the spirit of the genre while focusing solely on PvE? To answer the first,
Yo, there's going to be no PvP. There's going to be no PvP in a game like that. Now again, like I say, it does make sense to have a PvP ranked competitive kind of game with a live sim game as well. But like, wow, that's a bold choice, because it's like, what you go down the route of then? Just frustrating stat stick enemies and like insane, insane, like ridiculously unfair AI and such like that. Oh man, this is a big risk, right? Because like, what's going to keep people coming back for more with an auto chess player versus environment, player versus AI setup? As a little throwaway side thing, yeah, but as the fundamental major point of pushing game progression forward, I would assume. Now I know you've got all the sim elements to it, but this in a sense is the gameplay loop, right? Outside of all that other stuff. Oh, this is an odd one, man. I thought this genuinely had PvP in it, man. That's crazy.
First question you probably have. The first beta does not have its gacha system implemented yet, which is consistent with how Zenless Zone Zeros didn't add it until later, but it appears that in the final release it will be how you acquire characters, called Cardia in this game. In battle, you can equip up to 3 at a time, with each one providing a unique item that can be freely moved around between your anima. Additionally, the first slot has
some Genshin TCG. They're pretty good at making PvE challenges. I'm sure, like, and I think I suppose, like, to drag something out like this into a full-on game. Hey, maybe they make it happen, right? Who's to say? It just feels like a tall order to do a game like this. That I feel like this is a sort of game that really would flourish off being PvP. But then again, as I say, it's a weird mix with the rest of it. So the fact that it is PvE makes sense for the rest of the game, more casual. But it's just how will they keep the people sucking on the teeth, if you will?
A leader skill
Interesting.
that provides additional bonuses at the start of a combat round, which can range from summoning an extra unit to buffing your strongest attacker. In combat, anima function exactly how you'd expect. They auto-target, have basic attacks that can crit, cast spells with mana cost, and have defensive stats for the 2 types of damage. They are categorized into 3, 4, and 5 stars, but most anima are collected in the overworld by fighting them, with some requiring extra side quests, though others were locked behind long-term goals, and a few were available in the
Character
shop.
movements just
battle,
looks just like Star Rail, doesn't it really then?
One available to you at all times, with the dex showing 66 in the current build. Thankfully, there are team presets and filters available for you, so you don't have to scroll through the entire list if you know what you're looking for. This may sound like it removes all of the complexity of auto chess if you can just immediately draft the best team available, click battle, and win, and to be honest, the early game does pretty much feel like that. It mainly consists of individual battles, with either a wild anima or a trainer, called animasters in this game, and they're very straightforward. Some did have minor stipulations.
They're called animasters. That's them basically going, yeah, fuck you, Nintendo, what are you gonna do, what are you gonna do?
To them, but in general, the typical slow introduction of mechanics that gacha games tend to have in the beginning, combined with the non-interactive nature of auto chess, made the first 3 hours quite repetitive and simply not very engaging. It feels like there's a lot of cool ideas here, like the collection aspect of anima feeling very Pokemon-like and incentivizing.
Man, like when you're looking at like the characters and stuff, he very looks Star Rail, doesn't he? Looks very Star Rail, right?
exploration, but then integrating those systems together leads to some disconnects. For example, you aren't really incentivized to experiment with adjusting your team until you get a whole bunch of new synergizing units. Most of the anima you get in the early game share the aspect of satiation, which gives the whole team healing every few seconds. Why would I try switching out an old anima for a new one when I'd only be downgrading one of my active buffs? Then there's the progression system, which is also more similar to a typical RPG than I expected. The level of your units, which determines how high their stats are, is equal to your account level, rather than the standard of drafting multiple copies to upgrade in rank. And at level breakpoints, the number of anima you can field permanently increases. On the one hand, this creates a unique sense of progression, but on the other hand, the early game focuses way more on getting past the grind, rather than taking the time to learn the mechanics. So it probably sounds like I just hate this.
See, like, I worry sometimes when games do that, right? You know, when a game, like, it sets you up for a particular way of playing the game early on, right? Which I'm fine with, obviously, games progressively getting more difficult. But when a game sets you up to play a certain way and then kind of rug pulls you at a certain spot, it feels a bit rough. Because, like, the game, it treats you to be a little bit brainless for a while. And then it's like, now you got to switch it up and start thinking. It's like, I'd rather you learn me that from the start, so I'm equipped to when it gets like that. I don't necessarily have to do it straight away, but I'm equipped for it. But when a game kind of like leads you into thinking that it's one thing, even if it's a not so cool thing, but then that's when there's the potential of having that big switch and hitting roadblocks that are not like, don't feel like natural progression roadblocks, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense with that, really.
Game. And well, in the beginning, I kind of did. But once you get past that painfully slow early game, suddenly you are encouraged to mess around with different strategies that do allow you to overcome level gaps. When you finally have enough different anima to experiment with, that opens the door to discovering cool things like knocking an enemy into a group so that your AoE hits more enemies at once. When you are given a very specific modifier to play around, you have a team comp available to you that can properly take advantage of it. You can also permanently increase stats of units by feeding them, or equip them with non-refundable abilities called strands. So while I did warm up to the
when I just think of this game design though, man, I just feel like it's set up to be PvP, right? It just feels like it should have a PvP element to it. Now, I don't know if they just haven't announced that yet. But he did say this is solely PvP, right? Does anybody know if that's true, that there is no PvP in this game?
The game as I progressed, there was genuinely one thing that really made me think, okay, this game seriously has potential to be good. This is the Apex Club mode, which functions way more similarly to what you'd expect from a PvE auto chess game. You have to reach a certain number of round wins, and you can only lose a limited amount of rounds before losing the entire run. The number of units you can field, as well as the number of cardia you can use, increases as you get further in. There are augments called Gauntlet Principles that will completely change how you approach making your team composition. In my first run, I took
This sounds like this could be a little bit more enjoyable, actually.
One that gives me 2 non-attacking units.
Oh shit, T!
That give them the satiation.
Welcome to the live part then.
8 satiation when I otherwise wouldn't be able to. In my second, I took one that super buffed my backline attacker Boba Burb, and so he was my solo damage carry who I supported with a front row of bodyguards. And while Nexus Anima forgoes the usual unit shop, it provides its own take on the concept with an item shop containing 3 different rarities of stuff. Here you can buy levels for all your units, with it being more cost effective for smaller categories, equipment for your units, consumable upgrades to give to a single unit, unit specific skill upgrades, and even increased team size. This poses an interesting dynamic where you can invest in early power spikes or save up for the later rounds to cash in on big upgrades. This system also rewards you for playing flexibly, as utilizing what the game gives you will lead to saving more coins instead of re-rolling, so you can buy more total upgrades. Also, the cardia you use are not locked and can be changed at any time, allowing you to instantly choose the best lineup for the given situation. For example, the 5-star...
Do we know what the gacha is? All we know is that it's based around the characters. But the gacha wasn't in the playtest apparently, so there's no idea. I'm assuming if we go off previous, it's probably going to be a typical Hoyo setup, but we don't know, do we? Maybe they'll switch it up this time.
Parayaya Sovereign has an insane leader skill that does 20% max health true damage to all enemy units. but if you're fighting only a single enemy, the 4-star Jalili Bilal has a strictly better skill that does 30% max health true damage to one random enemy. This game mode actually manages to capture the essence of what makes TFT fun, all while removing the pressure that comes with a timer and facing real opponents. I don't think they'll ever add PvP to this game, because if you wanted that experience, you'd probably just play TFT. This is providing something completely new. Maybe it's because I was still a low rank, but it did seem really easy to snowball into an easy win just by choosing strategizing augments, but I could definitely see how it could become more challenging. Especially if they continue to expand on it with more mechanics, I can see it being a really enjoyable endgame mode that will test a player's skill in a similar way to how TFT does. So although I had kept on wondering why they'd ever take a gacha game in this direction, now that I've played it, I kind of get it. The large overworld integrates the anima fairly well, with you being able to find them in the wild, and each having an ability, such as being a bounce pad, mount, or glider. That said, it very much doesn't cross into Genshin's territory, which has way more diversified exploration, environments, and collection aspects. And if they went with...
It kind of looks, in terms of like the exploration, it looks a little bit more like Star Rail, right? With maybe a little bit of a Genshin in there. Like when you just even the way the characters moving around look very, very Star Rail, don't they?
Turn-based combat similar to the mainline Pokemon games that would likely end up being a bit too close to Star Rail's turn-based-esque gameplay. So auto chess combat avoids any semblance of overlap, while also expanding Hoyo's library of games to an untapped audience. Not just TFT.
And that is what Hoyo kind of do, don't they, really? Like, I suppose you could argue the closest the games get is... Well, it's not. It's even that's a massive stretch. It's like ZZZ to Genshin in the fact that they're action combat, but like they're so different, aren't they? Like, well, maybe like Honkai Impact Third to ZZZ, maybe. You know what I mean? Because like Impact Third's a different game to Genshin. Genshin is fundamentally a different game to Star Rail, and Star Rail is a very different game to Zenless Song Zero, isn't he? And this, I guess, is continuing that trend of doing something very much different to the previous game, which, again, I don't know if this game's going to be for me. I've never really played an auto chess game anyway, but I think if I did want to play, I'd probably want to play PvP. But as somebody who does like Pokemon, that part's like making me think, I want to give it a try, but I respect the facts. And a lot of people will shit on Hoyo, right? Because I know it's a cool thing to do. I respect the fact that they're doing something different, right? And I think you can say that about all their games. It might have the Hoyo stamp on it, but they're definitely different games. Well, at least I think they am, and to quite a large degree as well.
But also its mobile Chinese counterpart, Battle of the Golden Spatula, is insanely popular, with it reportedly beating out Genshin and Star Rail individually in 2024 revenue. And it doesn't really... And
that's a PvE game as well. Alright, there's obviously a market there for it.
Have any competition.
Hoyo was smart enough as well to know that there's a market there for it. Otherwise, they just wouldn't they wouldn't dabble, right? They know that these are smart people, right? You know, they know what they're doing.
Especially on the PvE front, as TFT has only had limited time events for it, making for some pretty big opportunities.
Even their Golden Touch, I feel like this may not be a big hit. Yeah, I feel like out of all the Hoyo games, I feel like this is probably, unless like say it just blows up in CN or something, I feel like this will probably be the one that has the least impact out of all of them. Hey, everything can't be a winner, right? When you're making massive W's like Genshin and Star Rail in terms of your impact in the space, everything isn't going to be there, is he? And it's fine as well.
Very polarizing in the sense that many people will absolutely hate it, and that's okay. There definitely will be a player base for the type of game that Nexus Anima is. After playing the game for around 8 hours, I'll admit that I think I might have been a bit too negative in the beginning. Alongside my complaints about the early game pacing, the story aspect of being an amnesiac and having the ability to go back in time didn't really appeal to me, and the implementation...
An amnesiac. Chat. It's a gacha game. It's a gacha game, chat. Can't be a gacha game unless we forget our memory. Right?
Presentation of the playable characters was a bit disappointing in that...
Wait! I forgot everything? Man. How original.
Some lacked models or animations, but these are all things that will most certainly receive major overhauls across
John
the next
Anime,
few
you know.
betas. The parts that will stay consistent are the genre and style, and in those respects, the game shows a lot of promise. Despite being such an early build, the UI looks fantastic.
I wonder why. I wonder what is the reason for that being such a common trope in the gacha space. I wonder I wonder why it is, right? Now, I know it's a simple way to have power trips, right? You know, to have power trip characters, power fantasies of a, you know, because it's not the losing of the memory itself is maybe not so much of a common trope outside the gacha space, but, you know, the starting a game off and being the all-powerful character and then you strip to your powers and you gradually gain all those powers back. It allows for that sort of element to a game, right? Especially with like you know, like a rover type character, as you're collecting your former power as you go, in a sense. And I'm not just putting Wuthering Waves out there like that. It's just an easy one to point out. I suppose it's simple in that sense, but I suppose like the self-insert's an obvious one. But I'm more thinking about like the actual the gameplay itself. Like I feel like you can have a self-insert without a character like losing its memory, right? You can just have them just be a bit of a generic blank slate character. But I suppose the easiest way to wash that away that they're blank slate is to be like, well, I forgot everything, you know? So I suppose. It's a bit lazy though, isn't it, man? It's a bit lazy. You know, self-insert, dirt, clean states. Well, yeah, true. But I feel like you can do that without that, right? So you hide the MC backstory from you and do a massive reveal. Yeah. But you can do all of that without the loss of memory, can't you? The self-insert as well. Because they can explain things without the problem of the memories. It's true. It just makes it easier, doesn't it? It makes it much easier. I guess to build the MC in the world around you. Yeah. I think it's a trope that's well overdone, right? Sometimes tropes can be good and cliches can be good if they're done well, right? But the amnesia one, it's getting a little bit too much now. It's like, damn, come on, CN. You know? Come on, CN. Yeah, good point, actually, Cactus. Like Vertim, right? You know. I suppose a good one as well, you know, freaking, like, Bell and Wise, right? They don't know certain things, but it's not like that's why I really like them as well, because they're not that self-insert, clean slate, amnesiac kind of character.
Protagonist customization is limited, but
they could have just made you a brand new trainer, right? Who just managed to come into some ability. Done. It's like, say, that reveal. Just lazy way to have big reveals, isn't he?
Some things like the graphics and performance clearly need a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of lag and frame drops.
Given that I'd imagine most of the effort up to now was put into the creature designs, which I found myself to be very impressed with. But this guy,
you know, looking at the environment there, you know, when we're just in bits of the gameplay walking around, it does look a little bit like that was an afterthought, right? It looks like that's something that was done a lot later beyond the gameplay itself, which I get. It's almost like the game mode was a side mode, which makes me think, was there something else here before? And they scrapped it because of the worry of the big bad Nintendo coming down on them. Right? Because like I say, it looks very Star Rail when you're in the open world, but it looks a little bit jank, doesn't he? I have another explanation. They have a lot of story cook up that they don't know what to include and exclude at first to finalise initial base story and continue to finalise all the lore later. That is a good point, actually, Leo. That is actually a fair point to anything. Again, for me, it's a little bit lazy, but I guess it allows things to be washed away, things to be ignored, things to maybe pop up as because it's a live service game. I should imagine a lot of the time they have a framework of the idea of the story they want, but I should imagine it adapts and changes a lot, doesn't it? Wuthering Waves is a perfect example. They scrapped the story literally before release, didn't they? And I should imagine that story changes a lot post-launch. You know? They've had TFT game modes in other games constantly. Yeah, it's... I'd love to know hopefully we get some sort of information on how this game came to be, because... It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go.
I need that one. and how the units function, which show a lot of promise, with only one anima that really made me think,
oh, this gameplay
okay,
I think's been planned well, yeah. I mean, you know, the more the overworld, it just looks a bit...
Nexus anima
It's
won't be for
weird
everyone,
crossover,
and
isn't
that's
it?
okay, because even if you are a diehard Hoyo fan, I personally think playing more than 2 gacha games actively at the same time can be pretty difficult to keep up with. But if you do enjoy...
You need to get on 2 who's level, bro. That's what you need to do. You ain't no gacha gold.
...the auto chess style of game, I think this will be worth at least giving a
Yeah,
try when
you're
it
probably
finally
right, Easy.
releases
You're probably
in a
right.
few years' time. It's of course too early to say if the game will be free to play friendly or not, but at least in the current build, despite having very powerful buffs and items, the characters seem to have the least amount of impact in this game when compared to Hoyo's other titles. That could very well change later, but
True.
Nexus Anima is already shaping up to be very different from Hoyo's standard formula, so it's all up in the air. There were some other minor details about the game I chose not to go over in this video simply because they probably won't make it to the final release, and I really just wanted to hone in on the core mechanics. Well, anyways, I hope you found this video to be interesting or insightful. Subscribe for more Hoyoverse game discussions, and as always, thanks for watching.
Okay, yeah, man. It's an intriguing game, isn't it? It really is. Like, it's if they pull it off right, they're geniuses, right? And like I say, they're not stupid people, right? Everything they've done so far has made bank. Now, everybody has a flop. Everybody, you know, when you're good at something, there's always the one which is your least impressive feat. Maybe this will be the game that is the least impressive feat. Who knows? It does seem, from my point of view, but again, this game's probably not targeting me, right? It seems like an interesting choice to have a cozy sort of life sim game with all these social elements to it, and then to have a mode in the game that you would think would benefit from being PvP and competitive. Then they've dropped that PvP competitive side to it, but there's obviously an audience, because you mentioned that other game that's killing it in CN. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what happens with Honkai Nexus Anima. I'm intrigued. I'm gonna try it when it comes out, because I'm willing to try any game. At the end of the day, I'm a gamer. I'll play anything, and you know, if I had had that attitude, I would have never found Arknights, right? There's a lot of people who look at Arknights and look at it probably the same snobbish way that some people are looking at this and being like, why the fuck would I touch that, right? I'm glad I didn't do that with Arknights. So yeah, man. We will be there. We will be there. I'm going to subscribe to this dude, man. I like his content. Yeah, I've never heard of him before, but he's got 113k subs. That was a great video, actually. Drop a preemptive like, guys. Go check out Red Flame. Does he just do like gacha stuff then, or is he like a TFT guy kind of guy? This game is changing 3D animation. Oh, dude's got some interesting looking videos. Okay, so he does a lot of Star Rail, yeah? Okay. He seems to do a lot of Hoyo stuff, right? Alright, cool. Okay. Alright. I'm down. Alright, let's get into it then, man, because we waffled for far too long. I mean, Tubo, MC of FGR when EK was just your regular average Joe, and Grow as you go. Yeah, like, again, I think you can have, like, a self-insert, can't you? With, without the loss of memory. You just have them just kind of be a sort of, semi-mute character, right? He just adds to the conversation. It's a less interesting character. That's why I'm never the biggest fans of self-inserts, personally. Like, right? I like to goon on characters sometimes. And I like cool-looking characters. But I don't take much pleasure out of a game of being, like, putting myself in the feet of the character, the MC. I like a well-built character, I do, that seems, like, interesting and that I can relate to. And I suppose that's where my, I guess, self-insert, if you will, comes from, because I connect with the character. I'd rather connect to the character rather than feel like I am the character. I mean, that's what I can say. Well, I like Vertin. Well, I like Amiya. Well, I like Bell so much, because they fill that role for me. Where, like, characters like, you know, like the Rover, you know, like characters in freaking PGR, and even things like Genshin and stuff as well, where they have a bit to them. Like the Rover's getting more to them, but they're a little bit more vague as characters. so you can feel like, you know, like collecting wives like in Wuthering Waves. It's just, yeah, it's not my thing, right? You know, it's not my thing. It's funny because Doctor is one of the less self-insert MC to be even more after the latest stuff. See, like, it's weird, innit? Again, this is bias, eh? Like, we know, like, the Doctor's lost memory, right? But with the storytelling in this, it doesn't feel so bad, right? And again, anyway, it feels like, you know, you are the MC in that sense, but Amir feels more like the MC in this game, right? You're just a POV to watch Amir's story. At least, so far, your Rindum's looking sad pics. I know, man. Peak times, bro. Peak times. The MC moves are there just to fuck waifus, let's be honest. What's this weed shit you got a mace in your pocket?
Spencer Fang, captain of Reserve Up Team A1.
I'm Malenta.
Hi, I'm Spot from Operation Reserve.
I mean, he's the only MC in the story. I suppose, yeah, like the Doctor's like the Doctor just gives you like the Doctor's there in a sense, like as a POV, isn't it really? I suppose it is a self-insert, but it's more just of a a lot of the time it feels like I know you're not because you're an incredibly important character, but it feels like you're like a fly on the wall kind of thing, if that makes sense, or at least to me. I know as you guys are saying later on that changes and stuff. But like Amir to me has been a really cool, interesting character, right? And I do like how you have a cast of characters that you bounce around in this game as well.
Is this how you greet? Is this how you greet?
By the way, I never picked side tag in your opinion, really.
Is this how you greet Texas too?
It's a cosplay from Chasing Kaleidoroider. I'll have a look at that in a sec.
Is this how you greet? Is this?
Don't worry, I'll fund your gamma addiction.
Texas too.
Doc is a prime crouching tiger, hidden badass.
Is this how you greet Texas too? Is this how you greet Texas? Is this how you greet? Is this how you greet Texas too? Here's a carnival costume. Put it on.
Put it on. No, you a clown. Oh shit. Is that from Kaleidoroider? God damn! Only click if you want your eyes to be blessed with goon, you know. I need to get into his skin as well, man, actually. Which one is it now? Fuck. No! Okay. Do bit of Code of Brawl. It's all expedited, right? That's all it was, yeah. In Arknights main history, he's most part Amir, but if changed after chapter 8, so this is it could be anyone most of the time. Doc is not in the event in this event. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. Right, so we did start this before, yeah, but like literally we only read a little bit at the start and I forgot what the fuck's happening. So we're gonna re-up. We're gonna start again. You're gonna start again. Let's buy something to get out of this. Alright, let's hop in then, guys. Let's hop in then. Code of Brawl! Let's do this. I can't see. I did these stages, right? I did these stages. So, shall we just re-up ourselves on the story here? Yeah, the timeline feature is really good, isn't it? Okay, alright. Let's do the story then. Because, I've totally forgot what the hell was going on. I've totally forgot what the hell was going on. Alright, let's do it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Guys, as well, if you haven't already, drop a like on the stream. It's very much appreciated. Brawling the code. Let's go. Alright. Lungman Ring Expressway car. Okay, I do remember this now, actually. Young Master. Young Master, are you asleep? You can probably do CV4, to be honest. Oh, where are we? We will soon arrive at the rendezvous point. Do clear your head, young master. Penguin Logistics is already there waiting for you. Right. You seem exhausted. I'm fine. Forgive my indiscretion, sir, but you do seem to have made this decision in some haste. You know, of course, that you may at any time share any matters that trouble you. Bro, sitting in the car with all that shit, bro. Like, bro, come on. My father, he definitely has his own ideas. But all I have to do is get Penguin Logistics on board, and those guys won't be able to get between me and my father ever again. You are the youngest messenger in the history of your family, young master. You perform all your duties impeccably. Surely that will be enough. Maybe. But who knows if they'll feel the same way. Is Bison any good? Young master. Looking at the city, all I can think about is how almost all of Lungman's messenger firms belong to my father. Penguin Logistics is the last and the most independent, and the one with a ton of weird rumours swirling around it. I mean, my father gets along pretty well with Mr. Emperor, but we have to do more to really get them, or at least I do. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. That is why I worry, young master. I'm well aware Penguin Logistics is a most peculiar organisation. Don't look at me like that. I got this. You might change your expression as well, young master. Perhaps if you smiled more, like the boys your age. It's sound tonight. You could go on out on the town with your friends. Real funny. Me not having friends is a joke to you, huh? Heavens no. Perish the thought. Tanky, but since core exists, no one uses him. Okay. Dreadfully sorry, young master. Do you have your shield with you? What's up? I'm afraid we're being watched. Target sighted. You ready? This fuse is still all... Just to do it all already, yeah. Is that what we got here? I also know a Gambino. An explosion. Hold on, young master. Target sighted. He's still up. Bring him in. A quicker. We just need to do a super, yeah. Just put an R on the end of everything. Is that it? Is that how it works? They bombed out the road, but who? Shit, my vision's all blurry. Reporter. Lots of witnesses, but I don't see the other targets, Hold up. There's somebody in the smoker there. Another survivor? You gotta... Hey. You got the whack to that easier? Talk about a hackneyed mob movie plot. Penguin Logistics. Oh, sounds like you passed screenwriting 101. Someone call Keo, please. But like throwing up a roadblock on a suburban highway and burying a bomb on the side. Isn't that also really cliche? Demolition is just a hobby of mine. Take a look around and I think you'll find things ain't so simple. Damn. How much iridium that mook using his bomb? Rat King will have our balls for breakfast if he finds out. We found a Penguin Logistics messenger. It's Exio. Looks like she bumped off the wrecking crew. Do I look blind to you? Where's the wolf? Texas. Dunno. Don't see her. Forget about it! Surround him. Let's get this done. An ambush, huh? Nothing if not thorough. Hey, can you move? Your limbs are all shaky. Yeah, kinda. You must be I'm just gonna call her Exu. Just gonna call her Exu. Exia, we'll call her Exia. That's me. And you're, what's his name? Bison. We should get out of here. Before you get all mopey. That old butlery guy, he's A-okay. Really? I put him by the roadside for a minute, but he doesn't look like he needs much help. Anyway. Help anyway. Exia, messenger of Penguin Logistics and the little rich kid there. Give it up. Come with us nice and easy like. Get about here. Give me the gabagool. Hey, Tony, where's the gabagool? All these fresh faces must be your relatives from Syracuse. Didn't you teach them how things work in Lungman? I think Gambino and Capone would have a more Brooklyn accent. Probably. Yeah, I used to know some Gambinos. None of your damn business. We're cleaning you out for good this time. Oh, come on. You've been in Lungman so long you turned basic? Grabbing territory like a common thug? I guess at least some of the Syracuse Mafia can do more than just bar brawls. I'll teach you to look down on a Sicilian. Lungman swearing. Get him. What did he say? I want to know what he said. Hey, Kathy! Alright, looks like I'm right on time. Croissant, you made it. They're all so ornery. What are we going to do? The usual. You clear a path, I'll bring up the rear. We split the completion bonus. If that's all you had to say, yeehaw! That crazy broad charge right through. Get after them, but not too close. Wait for backup. Got it. You lost him, Kazo. Look, I ain't a kidnapping expert. The rest of Penguin Logistics never showed. And we weren't about to go traipsing into downtown Lungman by ourselves. I don't want to hear excuses. There's a car headed your way. Convertible. Old friends inside. Already? He verbally said Lungman swearing because he didn't know. That's what I'm going to do now. Get into argument with somebody. Swears in black country. Now get lost. Ah, damn it. Another dead end. It's a bunch of old ruins nobody's touched for ages. Let me just make my own hole already. Hold up. Where are we going? There they are. It's a dead end. We got him. It's game over, isn't it? Oh, yeah. You have an idea? We haven't properly introduced ourselves, have we? Rub them out. Yeah, now's not the time for this. We've got more important things to deal with. Nah. This is important. Really important. We've got a serious emphasis on corporate culture, and today's culture buzzword is courtesy. Hey, it's the man. It's the man. I just came up with it. It's Emperor. Somebody call the boss. There's someone else with him. Came up empty, Exia. Every Syracusan mook's a total moron. We'll get him next time, don't worry. But first, I've got to introduce you to Penguin Logistics' newest temp worker, Bison. They blocked the only way out. We have to fight through. Get down on the ground. You don't have to die. Whoa, settle down. We just had to hold out until the boss. Hold out. Hit the lights. Ah, it's so bright. Where'd that spotlight come from? Welcome to Penguin Logistics, little doggies. Now, I can see you, and that means you're on land that belongs to the Penguin Empire. Now, I hate to bother you, but I'm going to have to see your landing visa. You got it on you? No? Then I think we got to send you crying home to your mamas. Nice aura farm. He's the aura farm master, right? He's the aura farm king. The emperor, if you will. And the accent sound. 7:10 PM clear. Penguin Logistics base. Messy room. So this is where Penguin Logistics holds up? It's like a disaster area. It's so dark. It's one of our bases. We haven't cleaned up in a while. Just sit wherever. Oh, thanks. I realised I didn't properly thank you, any of you. We did our jobs. You should introduce yourself first. I'm a messenger. Codename Bison. I'm from Lungman, and I work for Mountain Dash Logistics. My father sent me to learn what I can from your company, and I appreciate the opportunity. His father works for Mountain Dash Logistics. Who's his dad then? Rub him out. I know, it could have easily been rubbed one out. Wait, what? In public? Who's his dad? Oh, Tony the Tiger's not mountain to Mountain Dash. Okay, okay. You'll see. Okay. Hey, yo, guys, as well. If you haven't already, drop a like on the stream. See if we can get to 50 likes a day. Much appreciated. Now, about the contract between me and Mr. Emperor. I know we've already been over it, but... Hold up, little man. I've got a question. Did your big-ass daddy raise this boy to be so? Boss? Yeah, go ahead. Anyway, about that ambush. It was definitely meant to provoke a reaction from MDL and Penguin Logistics. We can't take this sitting down. I didn't read that as shitting down then. I can contact my father and the LGD. This is a case of aggravated assault. Hey, Texas. What's for dinner? We're throwing a welcome party, of course. Where's Sora? Didn't she stay home to hold down the fort? You know, she'll come a running as soon as Texas gets on the horn. Oh, sorry, you were saying? Sora? The first order of business is to figure out who attacked us. Does Penguin Logistics have any ideas? Leads? It's a pretty basic business dispute. What do you mean, business dispute? Texas, shouldn't I have a cigar in my hand by now? Boss, it's been a while since we shacked up here. I think all your smokes went bad. Sora came here to clean before. She might have thrown them away. Y'all for real? You trying to kill me? This is whack. Yeah, you keep talking, don't worry. At first, I love Emperor. Our first step should be to figure out exactly what these attackers were targeting. Hold up, we need some tunes. Get some vinyl spilling. We got a whole box of them here, don't we? Pretty sure I'll hold one over. A box worth a couple months' salary. Found it. What do you want to hear? Just throw in any one of them. Anything I picked out's going to be fire. It ain't life without music. Bless. Nice tunes. Nice me. Bison, what else you got? Oh, where was I? Their target? Right, well, their target was me, I guess, to try to provoke our two companies. That's it. I figured it'd be some revenge thing. So, you have a lead? Texas, go scout him out. Triple overtime. We get into scuffles like that maybe 20 times a month. Doesn't every messenger deal with this all the time? Why? Messengers should be quieter, quicker. You shouldn't be setting everything with violence all the time. Huh? We're a logistics company. Why are we always getting involved in gang wars? Because they got no taste. They don't value their own lives. And the boss signs out checks. We still get the goods where they still need to go. All nice and legal like. It's just we usually end up doing some armed transport. Yeah, like, what's the big deal? You're really okay with that? Ugh. Wait a minute. Here, it's a passcode Sora left. Cookies? Oh, why'd she open them and leave them here? They're no good when they get all soggy. Yeah, nothing worse than a soft cookie, right? Or like prawn crackers that you've had from the Chinese and you didn't eat them the night of the whatsy, but they weren't sealed right, and then you have them the next day and you bite into it and it's like, fuck! You know? You know? Sucks. The chocolate side is long and the tail is short. That's the passcode. That's some weird cryptography. Really? She wasn't kidding with that. All I did was memorize what Sora said. Suspect. Maybe she chased them out? Let it go. It's quitting time. We got sewing, so no overtime. Forget about capitalist oppression. We gotta pull one out for the homies. Who's drinking with me? Ooh, you buying, boss? I heard some new top shelf booze just came in stock. So good. You ladies got a lot of pay to dock, after all. No thanks. Wait, we never came up with a plan. Don't need one. We just let the mob get away with this? Play it by ear. The LGD won't butt in. Probably not. They're used to this stuff. Ugh. It is what it is. Just go with the flow. Well, last month's property damage invoice was a little longer than usual. You'll need to be more careful. So what's your typical work like? We deliver the cargo in accordance with the contract, and then we fight. But if you have to fight, it kind of takes precedence. Oh, and jobs go to the boss first. Then first come, first serve. Whoever can handle them. Hey, little man. Your daddy trusted you to me. So you're part of Penguin Logistics family now. Even if it's just for a bit. Yeah. I get it. Yeah, what's going on, Miras? Welcome to the stream. And you got to remember, the first rule of Penguin Logistics, don't sweat the small stuff. Wasn't the first rule live for the party yesterday? The one I heard was Carpe Diem. Pretty much. Those ain't going to be the last soldiers who want to scoop you up and haul you off. We're going to take them out one at a time. Simple as that. Hold up. Why does my ass feel funny? Somebody leave something in my perfect ergonomic recliner? I'll take a look. Oh, what an adorable little candy box. Boss, you were hiding snacks under your chair. That's a cat. Where would I stuff snacks in my... Did you just say candy box? It's a box of candy, see? It says Victorian gumdrops right here. Get back, Ixia. Don't open the... Huh? Get down. Oh, no, she's erotica and war crimes. Okay. Alright, so we just got these to refresh and then we're going to CB4, yeah. Okay. I told you it started, but it's been so long. Everybody okay? Just managed to block it. Nice reflexes, you two. Phew. They really blew it up, didn't they? Indescribable penguin sounds. What's that? I was making all kinds of crazy sounds. Hey, wasn't that box of vinyl records some kind of black market Colombian collectible thingy? I reckon you're right. What we're gonna do? I ain't never seen the boss all choked up like this before. What do you mean? Hey, they're getting away. Those guys in black. Wait, if they were here setting that trap, why didn't they just ambush us? This isn't adding up. We need to take a minute and come up with a plan before... Texas, get in. Listen up. You can expense your speeding tickets tonight. They gotta pay for my vinyl records. Newt, you know. Got him, dead ahead. Exia, pass me on, little homie. You got it, boss. Is that a gun? Now you're going to pull the trigger, you right? Ha, see for yourself, little man. Let a firearms expert tell you about it. That's 42 layers of logistics grade cardboard, seamlessly glued together with industrial adhesive, driven by the finest rubber bands. It's a really magnificent piece. You mean, it's a toy? It's more of a slingshot. It's a peacemaker. You can't use live ammo in downtown Longman. That's the law. And yet, this is the only time the boss seems to care what the law says. If nobody follows the rules, a whole society goes to hell. You feel me? Texas, put the top down. Be careful. Don't want you hitting your head on traffic signal like last time. Do I look that tall to you? Support sniper in position. Boss. But wait a minute. There's a lot of other cars on the road. Don't tell me you're just gonna... Fucking Newt, you know. I've just got that in my head now. They're all shooting at us. Return fire. How am I supposed to aim with you swerving all over the place? Hey. Are you hit back there? I'm bleeding. They got me. I need a bandage. No, wait. What is this? Rubber? A what? It's rubber. But it broke the glass. Shake them off quick. God, that hurts. Is bro infusing it with arts or something? Yeah, I like this sort of stuff, I do. It's why I like Granny and the Knight's Treasure, because, like, it's just a... It feels like a switch. This is, to me, obviously the world building law, but this builds the world out even more, doesn't he? Clean headshot, boss. Sick 'em, Texas. I'm speeding up. Slow down. Watch out for that big rig. You're going to want to hold on tight. Texas whipped up Walder and a Forte and a Twister right now. Exu, blow their tires. On it. She's going to pop their tires with rubber bullets? I've spoken, so let it be done. Texas, can you talk some sense into them? Looks away. Forget it. They're having a good time. Check this out. It's gonna do a cool flip. Hey, I can't move the steering wheel. Shit, bail out. Wait, going this fast, we're gonna get pulled in. Huh. Alright, now the multi-car pileup is all yours, Texas. Gee, thanks a lot. $7:16 p.m. clear. Embry's a rapper. Penguins in Happy Feet sing. Am I onto something here? Are penguins far more talented than we're led to believe? Are all boy bands just penguins in outfits? Think about it. Think about it. You know? Think about it. Is Adele just a penguin? Yeah, I don't know. Lungman Central Park at Fimble stand. Your Fimbles. Ooh, such springy mouthfeel. Pretty good. Springy mouthfeel? This place definitely earned that recommendation in the Great Foodie Guide. Glad you like it. That Fimble guy kind of gives me the creeps. I know what you mean. Like, you're selling Fimbles. Why do you have a big knife on the counter there? Foodie Guide says the owner is an old man called the Godly Fimble Uncle. He could be some kind of triad or something. Did you want something else? Oh no. Customers have been so weird lately. I'm sure it's got nothing to do with that resting triad face you've got going on. And this is what you wear to work? Maybe how this makes Uncle Tongue look. Welcome back. Done with work? Does look a bit scruffy, doesn't he? You could say that. The office said to you you took some credit. How much? $32.60 rounded. Do you want to try one? Where'd that come from? I don't have any change on me. Consider it a token of my appreciation for doing so much to look after my business. Alright. Don't mind if I do. It's tasty and all, but isn't this Uncle Tongue's stall? A tribute made with borrowed goods is one without meaning. You always have to get your digs in. This one's on me. Okay then. You've definitely gotten better. I wish the other punks took it as seriously as you do. Evening. I'll take some Fimbles. Coming right up. Take your time. I'm just enjoying the view of the river. Usually don't see it from this far away. I love this piece of art, I do. Smells nice. The Great Foodie Guide never gets it wrong. Order up. Here's your change. Thanks. Please come again. Waifu, what are you looking at? It's just that girl kind of weirded me out. Do Santa grow horns? Must be some sewing makeup or something. They look real. Whatever. Idle gossip is an unbecoming habit. What's next on the agenda? Back to the office? Studying. I've got a test in 2 days. You're spending sewing studying? Was sewing like a... Is it like a festival or something? Rhodes Island employing literal gods and algae beans and just a dude with 3 jobs and rent to pay. Town is supposed to be about shepherding spirits into the afterlife. Our society has totally corrupted it with consumerism. Respectfully, I will abstain. Not to mention, I don't get paid that much. I need to get my grades up and nab a scholarship. Yeah, that sounds about right for you. It's their fault for being so out of touch. Don't jump me in with them. I've still got some time. Where should I go next? Let's see. Looks like there's some good eats around here. Whoa, what's happening on the overpass? A car crash? That's happening what they were just doing here. Doesn't seem like a regular crash. Let's go check it out. Another street fight. Count me in. Friggin' psychos, get away from me. Oh, so soon? I love a little face change then. Looks like I'm on the clock already. Ow, I was thrown clear. Thank heaven for guardrails, otherwise we'd be puddled down there. Hurry up, pull me out. They're trying to get away. Stay on them. This airbag is smushing me. Hold still. You're gonna crush my little homie. Yo, croissant, it's coming out of your pay. That sounds super sus out of context. It ain't me. I can't move at all with Texas on top of me. Ugh. Then I guess it's up to me. Bison, wait. Everyone's crowding around. If they get away now, we'll never catch them. Pull me out already. That Forte kid's coming. I'm trying. Don't move. So heavy. Who? A sniper? Yo, Texas. On it. They missed bad shots. Not the little homie, bro. No, they're trying to hit the fuel tank. Huh? What's going on? Who's shooting at the Forte kid? Focus. The wolf's on her way too. Pull me out already. Wait. What's that smell? It's fuel, hurry. Brother. It's what it is. You son of a... Damn. I can't. Oh, too late. Wait, did we just do CB3 just? No, okay. I was tripping then. I was like, was that CB3 or CB2? 2 secs. Get myself a biscuit. Yeah, definitely want to protect the little homie, man. Shots are coming from above. Are they up on the overpass? How high is the angle of attack? Where could they be shooting from? Doesn't matter. First I've got to... Yeah. Oof. I'm okay. What's this? It's sticky. Sewing candle. Lucky these are here. You got one stuck in your horn too. Oh, thanks. I guess I better yank it out. I've heard the chair's a big fan. Big fan. So Rosie just messing me. Don't move, candle boy. Quiet. Take cover behind that crate. We lost Franzo's signal. Ought to be around here somewhere. Penguin Logistics is here too. Tell the boss as soon as you spot the target. You can come out. Oh, okay. I appreciate your help. You really don't want to get mixed up in this. Better go somewhere safe. I'd love to. It's been a while since I had a trip to Lungman, but a job's a job. Considering how I found you, I'm guessing your deal with Penguin Logistics isn't going so well. You could say that. Who are you exactly? I get the feeling you're not a typical passerby. Calm down. Let's just say I'm not your enemy. Oops, they're coming back. Hide. Mamma mia! Those are penguin bastards got to Franzo. What are we gonna do, huh? That Bison kid's all alone. This could be a big break. Can we really just yoink him in the middle of the downtown Lungman? Mr. Capone says, as long as we do it nice and quiet like, hold off on the guns and bombs, Lungman won't make a fuss. Nobody's gonna go looking in those filthy old alleyways, eh? Then we'll be back up. We'll be the backup. You find the kid, capiche? Well, we can't stay here. Let's get going. Let's see. Over there. Let's say hello. You find Bison yet, boss? I'm wearing shades, not binoculars. Give me some space. Alright. I see him waving at me. Well, let's go get him then. Come back and ask this guy what they're up to. Nah. Looks like our lucky little Bison had a smooth landing. He can't get himself back here. He can get himself back here, sorry. He took a 40-foot drop onto a smooth landing. Who's that? The bad guys are kind of hunting him. You sure we shouldn't go get him? She's got him. She's back. Exia, stay focused. There they are. We got a spring frontal. There's just no end to you people. I think we lost them. So what's Texas and the girls gotten themselves into this time? Who are they fighting now? Can I really trust you? I guess I better introduce myself. I'm a steamer, a messenger for Penguin Logistics. I think that makes me, your colleague for now. I usually work alone though. I love my steamer's design here as well. Steamer. I've heard that name from my father before. Not to mention a sanctum with black horns. The rumours were true. Better not ask about them though. Oh, good things I hope? How should I say? Just baseless rumours? And after you say me like that, I have no reason to doubt you. Sorry. Don't worry about it. You got nothing to apologise for. Thanks. Maybe we should share our intelligence, although I'm still pretty confused. Basically, Penguin Logistics is in some kind of conflict with an arm of the Syracuse Mafia. Right? Got it. Huh? You got it already? I don't need any more. You need to stop thinking so much. Trust your instincts. That's the Penguin Logistics way. Oh, so the trick is to just stop thinking, huh? They're a very special bunch. Common sense doesn't really work here. What about you, Miss Steamer? Are you always this direct with people? I think so. We need to get moving. Follow me. Our theories were wild back then. We mean? Hey, yo, you found the target yet? There's too many people. Hey, I'm walking here. Fucking poorly. Come on, let's check somewhere else. I don't think they saw us. Just keep going like this, and we'll figure a way out to meet back up with the others. Right. What is it? If we keep going like this, we'll end up getting caught by the mob. So that's where it was. It's been so many years since I've been back to Longman. All the signs are different. Right, are you hungry? I'm trying to decide between matcha and chocolate. Phew, it's getting late. Time to go home and sleep. This is a great place to run a seafood stand. I can't believe how many customers came through. Is that... Hey. I'll break this arm if I have to. It's me, let go. Huh? What are you doing here? I just closed up on my way home. You're the one who's here spacing out? Well, I guess he's not spacing out if you can't flip around and snap my neck like that. Did you hear that car accident just now up on the overpass? Aren't you supposed to be studying? One must strike a balance between recreation and labour. If I spent the whole night before the exam cramming, I'd go in there with my brain totally fried. Yeah, sure. I heard some customers talking about it. I hope nobody died. Same, but I heard something at the office. I guess there's some real unsavoury characters mixed up in this. Let's get this out of the way. I have nothing to do with any killers, gangs, or anyone in that world. You know that, right? Everybody knows your deal, or maybe I should just say, with this attitude of yours, it's natural to be a little suspicious. Right, I get it. And there was a gas explosion on a highway in the outskirts just 2 hours ago. A gas explosion on a highway? That's a pretty convenient explanation. Hey, you're not thinking. I told you, one must strike a balance between recreation and labour. Right, I get it. So, is this recreation or labour? There we go. They can't do anything downtown like this. Too many people. You ordered the matcha, right? This one's yours. My treat. I don't see any mafia-looking guys, but can't we let an our guard down a bit too much? What are we talking about? What are you talking about? This place is a 5-star recommendation. That's way more awesome than some mobsters. You been able to contact Texas and them yet? No, it was so fast. So what's to be all nervous about? The ice cream's melting. You gotta calm down already? It's just nobody could have predicted this. I should calm down. These mobsters came all the way from Syracuse to Lungman. We can bet they're here not for sewing, right? They definitely have some other goal. One of them is me. Beyond that, I don't know. We're in a good position. We've managed to lose them, and with just the 2 of us versus however many of them, we have the advantage in scouting them out. How do we proceed? Should we start hunting them? No, the better move is to reconnect with Texas. Huh. You seem a lot more like an ordinary messenger than Texas and the girls. Oh, sorry, I was talking to myself. No, you're right. We know the mob is up to something. You can't just go off half-cocked. Sometimes you gotta trust in the girls. I know they can be a little out there. Penguin Logistics is a tough cookie. It's kind of weird to call a logistics firm tough. Forget it. It's not like I've got any room to complain. Let's just take a walk, enjoy the scenery, and maybe by the time we run into Texas and the crew, we'll have this whole gang all wrapped up. Really? Ah, Mossima. You see that candy store? It's really more of a stall than a store. It is pretty old. I came here on a trip to Lungman years ago. Back then, I didn't have any Lungman dollars on me. Honestly, I must have looked a sight. Still, I found myself drawn to the candy. Okay. That's what a message does. We get into trouble on our long and arduous journeys. Come on, let's take a look. Wow, it's a twinkly star. Mister, how did you pull a star down here? Sorry, but that's a secret I'll have to keep. That's not a star. It's just a candy with some food colouring. But I've never seen such a pretty candy before. You sure don't want one? You're such a pain. Don't they have any cotton candy? Of course we do. Here, give me your hand. Oh, but I don't want cotton candy. I want that one. I hate fruity candies. They're too sweet and they turn your tongue weird colours. Just take what you want. No charge. For sewing. Now it's getting late. You kids hurry home and go and get to bed. Thanks, mister. Hurry up. I want to go to the toy store and check out the limited sewing nights. The sewing nights I got. Kids these days have so much energy. Did you want something? We've got these lovely Victorian gumdrops, real imports, and they come with a candle for sewing. We're in no hurry. The night is young. Ho ho, and so are you. You two must be here for Downtown Carnival. Steamer, who is this guy? You enjoy the nightlife, sir? Not with these old bones, I don't. The candy I sell tends to make its way there for me. Is there something special about this year's Carnival Gala? Looks a lot like a lot of foreign guests in town. Things have been quiet in this town for too many years. The people are definitely itching for the carnival. Carnival brings in all kinds of characters showing up, getting into all kinds of trouble, and that's pretty fun, isn't it? Yeah, for sure. The point of sewing was always to see off the souls of the departed. If the living are having a good time, that's a decent sacrifice. You really don't want anything? Last time you stood outside with your face stuck to the display window. I thought I was going to have to peel you off. Wow, you remember me? It's kind of embarrassing. Huh, how could I forget? I'd love to, but I really can't be eating too many sweets before work. That's too bad. Ah well, have a good evening, kids. Do come again when you have time. Oh. Yeah, of course. I didn't think that was... the carnival, huh? I heard it's the biggest festival event for Lungman in years. I forgot that, I did. Bison? Sorry, I just have something on my mind. It's pretty obvious what you'd be thinking about at a time like this. But boy, do you love thinking too much. Just go with your gut sometimes. My gut? Even a messenger like you says to trust your gut. You play it case by case, like right now. We're up here on a bridge and there's a cargo ship passing down below us. Okay. And we got 3 disguised mobsters coming at us from both directions. What? It's too late now. They've been watching us for a while. Since the candy store. We were surrounded? There's tourists all around us, so we can't fight. I'm not sure these guys have any hang-ups about that. So what do we do? Jump. I'm sorry? Jump, now. Off the bridge? There you go with that thinking again. Hop over the railing, take a leap of faith, like so. But wait a sec. Well, somehow I feel like this isn't my first time in freefall. It's... candy? Why is this freighter hauling candy? But at least it looks like we lost them. A steamer? A steamer? Landed on a pile of candy, eh? Alright then. What's CB4? I forgot what the mechanic was with this event. Is there a mechanic with this event? Because obviously it's been ages since I did those 2 stages. Plenty of range tiles, right? I need to get monster leveled up, man. Yeah, let's go with this squad.
I won't fight for nothing, but for the right price.
Tear out deployment slots. Oh, is it those things that you click? That are placed around the map when they build up, you click on them and then you get an extra slot. Is that what they are? And then if they're destroyed, you lose that deployment space. Yeah, that a character gets took off the field. Is that am I thinking right there? Lungman Aqueduct here. Now, don't go jumping onto any more boats. It's dangerous. Sorry, it's just we were... By the way, you didn't happen to see a Sancta lady around here, did you? I didn't see anything, and I don't have time for this. These suites are for the after party, and you're going to pay me if they turn up late. Oh. A Sancta? Ah, Mestima. You know Mestima? Sorry, I mistook you for someone else. This lady sure looks familiar. Oh, did you get you know, did ya? Nice, congrats. Anyway, I'll let you off this time. But don't go doing anything that dangerous ever again. Sorry, I didn't mean to trouble you. Forte Kid. There was something about that, a Forte Kid. What was it? Oh. What are you doing? You had some candy on your horn. Oh, really? I should probably give it back to... And looking at your horns remind me of something that... They're just like the Mountain Dash Logistics logo. You're the little prince of MDL, aren't you? Little prince? Sora, man. Is this really the way back to Texas and the others? Relax. I know what Texas is thinking at all times. I can see right into her head. Oh. Her voice was such a familiar quality to it, but I can't put my finger on it. Never been off with her. Need a concerto, kid, no. Ma'am, I never thought the day would come when young messengers would be calling me that. So what's your impression of everybody? Impression? Man, I really hope Enfield does all this sort of stuff. I really do. You know? Like, this is what I like about what Enfield does with the storytelling, right? Like, obviously I know this novel-style storytelling is not for everybody. But, like, the side stories and events and stuff are just, like... They're well-built. There's just some shit. It's not like the end of the world. It's not like we've got to save this land. If without us, everybody dies. Now, I don't know what this is going to evolve into. But, like, it just feels grounded, right? I like it. They're very, spirited people. I guess that's what they must have put you through. Oh, sorry. Which way are you going? It was clearly your fault. Who asked you? Mind your own business. You little brat. Don't worry about it. Let him go. He just swiped your wallet. He sure did. That wall, it was just some pumpkin candies inside. See? This is the real one. You familiar with the old expression, trick or treat? Where was she hiding the other one? He was here just to make trouble. And today's not even... Would you have something like that? You may not be able to tell at first glance, but Lungman's been through a lot lately. Sewing candles aren't bright enough to light up all the dark corners of this city. And those kids don't exactly have it easy. But hey, it's just something I came up with. Not bad, huh? What if he grabbed my wallet instead? Should be right up ahead. Oh, he's actually the right... Oh, he's... Oh, okay. Isn't this the park from before? Did we just make a big circle? See? Here they are. Listen, if you don't talk, I'm going to have to light this fuse. Your lips better start flapping, kiddo. These fireworks will blow you sky high. You forgot to take the tape off his mouth. Oh, right. You crazy broads. Do you have any idea who we are? The Syracusan Mafia. Texas, I don't think we're scared of you. Oh, we know you're not scared. Where else would you blow up all the boss's collectibles? A bomb in a candy box, though? That's kid stuff. What are you talking about? Huh? I don't know nothing about no candy box. But if our capo did up a bomb, you'd all be in pieces. This guy sure is full of himself. Let's blast him. Patience, Exia. Let's let him talk. Ain't you the least bit curious why Lungman's letting us get away with all this? Not really. As long as he go down to the station once a month to pay our property damages fines, and pretty much let us do whatever too. Come on, Exu. Let the fella say his piece. Just look at you broads. We got the big man's okay to do whatever we want to Penguin Logistics, right from the real power in Lungman. You know what that means, don't you? We're a legitimate logistics business, and a pretty good one at that. And why do we always end up, you know what? Forget it. Who's the big man you're talking about? It sounds really pretentious, super gross. Don't play dumb. The Rat Kings. Hey, Texas, and the rest. Oh, Sora, what's up? How about that? She wrangled Bison too. I ran into this lost little calf on my way over. I thought I'd bring him along. What are you doing? And where's Mr. Emperor? The boss went somewhere to do something. You didn't run into anyone else, Sora? I don't think so. Huh. Do I have something on my face? No. Anyway, Bison filled me on the whole story. Where do we go from here? First, we get some more answers from our little buddy. Then, we formulate an appropriate response. Wait, Exia, do you mean I actually ran into my steamer back there? Then I lost her. I mean, after we shook the mobsters, she... Don't worry about her. That's just how she is, vanishing years at a time. Years? Tell you the truth, I've barely seen heads or tails of her since they hired me. Let's not get Exia too rolled up. This is all very unorthodox. She's a special kind of messenger. Contractually, she works for the boss, but more often, Laterano has her. Exia, what's your match? Huh? Oops. Darn it, looks like we're out of time. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Did bro just get peppered with a firework? Did he just get peppered with a firework? Hey yo, that sounded like Franzo, and he didn't sound good. Let's get over there. So they really can send a person flying? No way, they launch him into the air. These fireworks are something else. We've got company, 6 and 3 o'clock. I like Penguin Logistics, man. Okay.
Originium, are you to blame for this battle?
I'm here to help.
Shit, have I got on skill 2?
Almost
Fuck.
enough.
Keep forgetting, put her on skill 1, man. Don't know if I want to... Yeah, let's just put her here, actually. I was going to put her up here, but I don't know if I'm going to get them... Oh, we got a box down here as well. Okay.
I know what you can't hide hide your...
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
I got this. Focus.
Oh shit, I forgot we got a box over here as well.
They will
Meet me. Meet your death.
Your weapons are right at your fingertips. Why wait?
Alright.
The show has... What are you waiting for?
Shit.
The curtains are about to fall.
Meet
She's on
me.
scale 1, yeah.
Meet your
Okay.
death.
We're counting on you again today, little apple.
Don't you can't hide your fear. Please follow me into the shadows. Follow me into the shadows.
Who takes joy in the fall?
Ooh, I have to get serious now.
I know what better match with death. Right behind you.
I need to change Myrtle and Lappy's skill actually. In the main story, we only saw Texas next year, but it's learning about the whole gang. Yeah, I like it. This is what I really like about the storytelling. Again, I really hope they do stuff like this in Enfield, right? Have these little grounded, like, a bit more, well, so far, light-hearted stories, but where we get to learn a little bit more. It's a good way to do world building and character building as well, isn't it? And that way, when you do stuff like this as well, you can have on-banner characters come in, and you don't have to shoehorn them into the main story, you know? What's going on here? What am I loading? You know, they can just be brought in a bit more naturally. Whoa, are they shooting a movie or something? Aren't those the Penguin Logistics people? They're fighting again. Give them a left hook now, right. Come on, yeah. They always win every fight. It's boring. Yeah, hey, you mooks in black. Don't lose too bad. Spaghettied. Ugh, it's such a pain when you can't use live ammo. How many times have we got to tell ya? No live ammo downtown, Exia. Behind ya. That was close. Thanks, Croissant. Does this never end, Texas? Right, sort it with me. Exia with Croissant. Divide and conquer to the ends of the earth. What? Also, I mean affirmative. Oh, cut him in two, huh? No problem. That's my speciality. You might play might play it a bit safer, Exia. Our damage bill's getting mighty long. Hold on. What does to the ends of the earth mean there? We regroup in an hour. What does it mean? How do we fight our way out? I've got an idea. What the hell are you doing? I ain't scared of you, angel girl. Hop on, Croissant. This bike's pretty sweet, huh? You got it. Let's ride. Hijacking? Good idea. Alright, you're up. Stay back, freaking wolf. You, not in the face. Fine. Take the bike. Get on, Sora. Yeah, okay. Hold on tight. I can't let Exia outrun me. You could maybe go a little slower. Then I guess... I left this kid behind? Sounds good to me. Let's get him. What are these guys thinking? Darn it. I need a vehicle. Are you looking for a bike? I could lend you one. A bicycle? Well, beggars can't be choosers. Thanks. Go get him. That was a pretty bold thing you did there, helping out Penguin Logistics. You guys got wheels? You should be able to catch him. You... Leave it. Don't mess with the civilians. Don't want to get us in trouble. Sorry. After him. Everybody, get after him. Kidnap Bison. Split Penguin Logistics and MDL. Rub out Emperor. That was your great plan. He looks kind of badass. Our goal is to take their place. No need to bury those idiots. I think you can do the math on this one. You know, with like the Arknights anime, do you think they'll tackle any of this sort of stuff? You know, like side quest stuff. Texas. She's Texas. Then you get the Laterano girl and the MDL Princeling. You think we can leave and breathing and still sleep at night? We gotta salt the earth here. That's a good way to get a lot of eyes on us. We ain't the only seat at this table. Huh. You scared? Gotta know when to fold him, Kazo. Getting down on my hands and knees for the Rat King was as low as I'm ever gonna go. All this time in Lungman's turned you a coward. Scared of your own damn tail. You've done a lot for the family, but you're lucky I ain't kicked you to the curb yet. You do what you gotta do. We can come back to that one. Damn right. Now I've got to deal with Penguin Logistics my way. A stiff can't come back and bite you in the ass, capiche? You do it your way. But I'm just going to warn you one last time. This ain't Syracusa. We're in Lungman now. And it's after we blew it in Syracuse that I realised we don't pass up an opportunity. We're not going to compromise, negotiate and fall into another trap. We're going to use everything we got to totally wipe out the competition. We're going to do this the old way, like the true Sicilians we are. Right. Family don't need cowards. The family don't need rubes. Send some guys into the slums to find the Rat King. Let him know the deal's changed. Mr. Capone, you know if we can't get the Rat King to see sense. Listen, we're going to do business in Lungman. Can we really let a rat hang over our heads the whole time? We got to do something about him sooner or later. Go down this list of Lungmanites we know have some connection to the Rat King. Alright. We don't have a lot of time here. I need results tonight. Get going. Did I do something with all these years in Lungman? You screwed up, Gambino Ricci. Really screwed the pooch.
To drive them away with fire is easily done. But if we're to ensure they'll never come back to hurt us,
okay then
a fire is not enough.
How many stages are in this event? Chat, how many stages? I think we have a lock-in stream tomorrow, yeah. We'll lock in tomorrow. Bash this event out. Get this event done. Completed. Completion. What's the suggestion after this as well, chat? Yeah, if I've got time, I might try and stream again later. To play some Icebreaker. Alright, Azil, okay. Should do Guide Ahead. Lone Trail Trilogy, Abyssal Hunters, or Sea Saga. Who is the skin for at the event? I think I might play some IS as well. We do some integrated strategies. I think I might do some integrated strategies Friday, maybe. I do want to bash do some events also we can get into chapter 9, but I really do want to play some IS. Children of Ursus, by the way. Guide Ahead is about Laterano. It's the following part of the Exuilter event. Okay, I'm down to do some Guide Ahead. Okay, I'm down for that. Vermeil. Oh, okay. Whatever one good story or operator. So, the way I was thinking about it, ones that are kind of pertinent to the larger story, I guess, that like facilitate that I suppose have a lot of context to what's going on in the story that would help in that. And then obviously, you know, rewards as well would be nice. Yeah, we'll finish Code of Brawl first. I mean, do you want depressor or a difficulty curve that won't kill you? I don't mind either. I'm honest. I don't mind a bit of difficulty as well. Ooh, after this story connected to Code of Brawl, it branches out to 3 side stories. Right, okay. Code of Brawl, Guide Ahead, Hortus, The Masses Travels. Right. Oh my god, yeah, Walk in the Dust and Vigilo is necessary for Chapter 9. Pre-Chapter 9 or post-Chapter 9? Masses Travel Spawns Chapter 15, so careful with that. Well, we could at least go on to Guide Ahead, yeah? Walk in the Dust and Vigilo. Okay. So what if we do this? Guide Ahead, Walk in the Dust, Vigilo. And then Chapter 9. Alright then. Alright, it's a plan. It's a plan. That's what we do then. I think that's a plan, yeah. Okay. I'm down. So yeah, we'll get this wrapped up tomorrow. Start Guide Ahead, well, as soon as we're finished. I'm thinking we're going to do some integrated strategies. I don't know whether to do it Friday or do it Saturday though. For integrated strategy. I need to look when Man United are playing though, because obviously I'm going to watch the football. So, yeah, we'll work something out about that. And then next week, I think we do some Limbus Company chat. I think we do some Limbus Company. Maybe start it off as an evening stream. Or maybe this weekend. And then, if people want more, we throw it in here and there. You know what I mean? We throw it in here and there. But guys, if you haven't already done so, drop a like on the stream. I'm gonna call it there because it's past now. I'm gonna go and get Rosie from work, and then yeah, we'll lock in tomorrow. It's a lock-in stream tomorrow. We're gonna bash through some content, and yeah, and then yeah, we go from there. We go from there, chat. If you feel compelled, you can. Yes, I do want to get Gladiator. Actually, I really do want to get Gladiator on a. Can I do that before Chapter 9? Because I really want to get Gladiator, so I want to try and do that. I can. Alright, awesome. Yeah, definitely want to do that as well. Yeah, I definitely want to do that as well. Alright then, guys, thank you very much for hanging out tonight. I might be back later, but it's not 100%. I'll see how I feel. But I do appreciate you hanging out today, guys. Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Check out the video I uploaded as well earlier on today. It's a longer one, but if you was in the stream, you saw it, but any likes, comments, all that sort of stuff are really appreciated. For the algorithm, of course. And I will see you all tomorrow if I don't see you later, guys. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Have fun. I'll see you all later, guys. Ta-ra.